Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Friday Night Movies. I am your host, Matt Marrero, along with...
King of Monsters, Tristan Walter.
Whoa, they say he's got to go. Get out, Tristan. Get out.
All right, well, says the false King Ghidorah over here.
Hey, I only got two heads, all right? The third was removed.
By
Godzilla
my
just
teeth?
sliced. Yeah, just Godzilla karate chop. Anyway, so this movie was. So we are talking about, if you guys don't know, even though it's in the title of the podcast and also in the thumbnail if you're watching us on our YouTube channel. Those guys on the radio cough. Anyway, we are talking about Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Dos. Well, technically Godzilla too, Dos. I don't know what you call. Here's the thing too, by the way. Just a side note. I wonder if some people were confused by marketing. They're like, "Oh, is that like a new Godzilla movie? Like it doesn't. The old one didn't happen. Like the 2014 one didn't happen, or is it? Because it's interesting they didn't call it like Godzilla 2, the Godzilla.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, when you see Godzilla, though, it's obviously the same design he was for 2014. So.
Oh yes. No, he does look like his 2014 self, and yeah, and if you see the movie, you obviously know that this was clearly a sequel.
It literally starts up saying, "Remember 2014?"
Hey, that's something I really liked about this film. They understood, hey, it's been like 5 years. Or I think maybe they said it was 2018 at the time. But still, they understood, like, yeah, we're filming this knowing that it's not going to come out until like because I'm pretty sure it was filmed like 2017, 2018. But they knew, like, yeah, it's going to come out late 2018, probably early 2019. And in doing that, they kind of get like, yeah, because it's always weird when a movie is, even though in this case it would have mattered since sadly they didn't bring back any of the cast members from the first film, but still, it's always weird when a movie or a TV show is like moments later, and it's like, these actors have visibly aged. No, it's been like 5 minutes. No, it's been 2 years. These actors have, like, look at something like and I know it's a different beast, but look at something like The Walking Dead, where it's just like, in The Walking Dead's timeline, I think like 9 seasons happened within like, well, no, not 9, 8 seasons happened within like 2 years. And I'm like, the most bullshit, that's what I call. The most bullshit. I play the most bullshit. Oh, damn, that's a lot of bullshit, Yug. Because, like, it's just fucking 8 seasons, 8 years, and they were like, yeah, it's about like a year and a half.
Right. And
you look at the kid who's not a kid anymore who played Carl, and you're like, he's a man now. Like, he's like 19, and he was like literally like 11 when he first started playing the kid. Like, it's just so funny. So in this case, I'm happy they were like, no, look, it's been like 5 years, especially because Kong Skull Island is not relevant to the timeline in the sense that it happened in the 70s. So they didn't have to sit there and be like, no, it was a year later. Like, it was just so much easier to be like, look, time has passed, but sadly for this family that we focus on, they have now moved on.
Right.
Yeah. And that family was fucked. God damn. Yeah. Which I wonder, it's, I have to say, it's kind of, so here's the thing, right? So there were some people, and I didn't get to read a lot of reviews, but at the time before you and I saw the movie, there were some people that were saying like, there was too much monster action, or at least they were saying there wasn't enough human kind of like a human connection, and there wasn't a lot of like live action scenes, or the characters weren't fleshed out and stuff like that. I will admit, I think that maybe I feel like more stuff should have been cut. So I'm of the humans. So maybe I'm weird that way. Well, because the thing is, for me, I feel like, and you feel similar, Tristan, when we go to see a Godzilla movie, you want to see Godzilla.
Right.
And I think that was one of the harshest things about 2014's Godzilla, is that we got too many cuts to them on the ground in certain situations. Where, like, I'm not saying that the story should not have been about the army guy, I can't remember his exact name, or his exact title, but army man going to find his family. Like, I get it. We're focusing on that story. But there were decent chunks of that movie where I was like, man, I wonder what Godzilla's doing right now. Where in this movie, I feel like they explained it really well. They did a great job of being like, well, Godzilla was just murdered. And it's like, oh, he's going to be out for like 20 minutes. At least. He's been murdered. He's not going to be around for a bit. But in the first movie, it kind of felt like just for some reason.
Off like a bad hangover.
Basically, a couple thousand years. But yeah, but in the first movie, it felt very much like it was just like, well, where's Godzilla? He's just waiting for the next really cool jump scare effect that's going to freak you out but also amaze you. And then I see it, and I'm like, I am both freaked out and amazed. Yes, you were correct. But yeah, no, so did you, when it comes to some of those reviews of the film, did you put any stock in those, or were you just like, that makes me want to see the film more? What did that do for you?
Yeah, I'm going to sum it up with this phrase.
Mm-hmm.
But big monsters, guys!
But big monsters. Yeah, well, that's fair. But no,
look, I went to see a Godzilla movie. I went to go see Godzilla kick the ever-living crap out of King Ghidorah. I got what I wanted.
Yeah, those monster fights were really good. Like, I think that's the best, well, at least in terms of the U.S. side of things, which I know the U.S. side of things, when it comes to, I'm talking about just Godzilla here, is pretty barren, but still, that's the best U.S. side of things we've gotten out of Godzilla.
Yeah.
Like, cause,
those fights were fucking sick.
Yeah. I mean, because even if you count the original King of the Monsters, since it was a partial American-made production, all of the... No, I'm talking about the... Wait, what?
Oh, wait, right. Different.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm thinking versus King Kong for a second. I don't know why I went there.
No. I'm talking about... I'm talking about... Not King Kong. I'm not talking about Godzilla versus King Kong. I'm not talking about Zilla 97, 98. No, I'm talking about us going all the way back to 1956, because we've done that on the podcast as well. Well, we didn't personally go back in time, but we saw the film, and you and I...
No, we went back in time to see them film the movie in front of us.
And you sat next to a kid, and you were like, man... If you had you were saying to this person, you have a kid one day, you better show it to them. And you were like, of course. And I'd name him Tristan. You were like, fuck. Well, that just happened. It's like, good job, Tristan. You just named yourself.
You fucked with your own timeline.
But anyway, so seriously, though, have you seen it with your dad yet, actually? Let's be serious here.
I haven't yet. We have plans to try to this week at some point.
Well, you can't go to the local theater. They probably have removed it by then.
Yeah.
But you still find something in the area. I love Tristan's local theater. Just a small side note: $8 for a ticket, everybody. And some of you guys in different parts
every time we go to see the movie.
Fucking time. $8, right? And hear me out, okay? Because some of you guys in other parts of the U.S., you guys are like, oh wait, is that not normal?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, guys. As a New Yorker, being able to go to Long Island, that part of New York, and being able to get an $8 ticket, and then we shared a popcorn because we've known each other for 11 years. But if we didn't, I got pissed because you and I ate the popcorn before the movie even started because we got there early for once. We were like, we're not going to be late to Godzilla. Fuck this. We were 5 minutes late to Endgame. We were not going to be fucking late to Godzilla.
I will destroy anyone who is in my path.
All right, chill the fuck out, Destroyer. Chill the fuck out. Anyway, so we were sitting just at near concessions eating popcorn, and you and I were like, this isn't going to last. We knew it. But then in the middle of the movie, I stick my hand into the fucking popcorn thing, and there's no popcorn in there. And I swear to God, thankfully, there was another couple in the theater. Man, all they hear from our aisle from me is it was just, I was so angry. No popcorn left. Also, because they give you a small one too. So because usually we get the combo where it's it's $16 So we just split. So it's like $16 for the movie and the concessions. Which, when you and I went with a friend in near Penn Station for Detective Pikachu,
yeah.
Just the tickets alone were close to 16. I got nothing. No, literally. I was just like, because we had eaten beforehand. I was like, thank goodness.
Right.
Because I do not want to pay, even though the food cost more than the tickets. But shush, it was good food. But I was like, no, I will not. I will not go to this and pay like almost more than $20 for fucking food, drinks, and a ticket. No. So we went to see it at the nice small little theater, but they rotate shit real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, not a good sign for the movie as well. In terms of box office revenue, we were the only ones, even though it was a Wednesday night, still, we were the only ones in that theater. Yeah. Minus another couple who I heard some noises from them, not sure if they were that interested in the movie. But I'm not going to go there. I just heard some weird stuff back there. No, you were interested in shiny monsters. I was too.
Yes, I was.
But like No, they could have literally be fucking in front of the screen and you'd be like, get out of the way. Come on, jeez.
Basically. Look,
not
if you
the
want
kind of
to do
action
that,
I'm
just go to the back. I'm here for the Zilla. Get out of the way.
I'm here for action, but not that kind of action. Get out of the way.
I picked them up and escorted them out the door myself.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I love that you pick them up like as if you pick them up and escort. Like you pick them up and you're like, please, if you could just fuck elsewhere. Thank you.
Dun, 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 as I go up the aisle.
Well, no, I mean, look, to be fair to this couple, if they were actually doing that soundtrack is a good aphrodisiac. It does get you excited in all the right ways. When I hear that, when I heard dun 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 dun, no, hearing that for me is kind of like when I'm watching episode 1, a movie that I really don't like a lot, right? But I'm watching episode 1.
Duel of Fates.
Yes. It's the tune is escaping me now. But if you just do a little bit of it, I'll remember the whole thing, and I'll just. Oh. That's just every time I hear that, I'm just like, yeah, like it's just.
I'll put that on in my car the next time I just pick you up somewhere.
Thank you. Anyway, so. No, but yeah. So sadly, because there is some talk that the movie did not do so well at the box office, mostly due to the box office numbers. But that's kind of where the talk is coming from. I don't know if it's funny in the U.S., but in Japan or generally overseas, movie did really well.
Right.
And I think what I think it might have to do with. I think it's just the fact that like in Japan. I'm not saying they never got the '98 Godzilla movie, but but here's the thing: in Japan, though,
which they have the same reaction to.
But that was just one bad movie, I think. Right. So for them, Godzilla is. I mean, literally, they have press events where Godzilla is just chilling out, like cutting getting big scissors and cutting tape to like new cities and shit. Like that's just what.
Right.
Yeah, Godzilla is essentially part of the culture.
Not
icon.
That,
not that everyone loves Godzilla necessarily, but that he is. But he is a cultural icon. Like I would argue, in the U.S., Power Rangers has become. Not that everyone loves Power Rangers, but I could swear you've told me this multiple times. You never saw a full episode as a kid, but you've seen it in passing enough. I'm talking about as a kid growing up.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But you still know Power Rangers. That's the whole thing. Like it's such a huge icon that like even if I wasn't as big of a fan of the Japanese side of it now with Super Sentai and all that stuff, even if I wasn't a fan, I could still come up to you and be like, "Oh, they're coming out with a new Power Ranger such and such." You'd be like, "Oh, yeah, cool." And then we'd leave it there or something. Right?
Right.
So that's what Power Rangers is in the U.S. to me, and the same thing with Godzilla over there. So I think that was always going to do well over there, even if some people, which I feel like that they're with the monsters. Even though I'm happy that there was some more soul in them and some more heart, I do think that there could have been a bit more. like a bit, not maybe when I say that I mean like motivation necessarily, because Godzilla we know fully fleshed out. He's a good guy. He wants to work with the people. He is not about like he's a protector. That's always been Godzilla. Mothra, I just don't know what the motivation was. That's the thing. Like we were told, hey, this is what Mothra is here to do, and also Mothra is working together with Godzilla. We get that, but
yeah.
If you've never seen a Godzilla movie, other than the 2014 version, I do feel as if there really wasn't much motivation. Like this movie was, and for Mothra and even some of the other monsters, like this movie was good, and I mean very good for people who were longtime fans like you and I.
Right.
You obviously a lot more than I am, but I think that certain references that are really nice little things would potentially be lost on people, and maybe for that reason,
that's fair.
Some people who have seen it haven't been ranting and raving about it to the moon. Not even a reviewer, but just the general audience. I've heard some people that I know that are like, yeah, the movie just didn't have a lot to it. And then this was like after I saw it, and I was like, well, that's odd. But either way, this person wasn't like, actually they were a kaiju fan, which was interesting. So like, yeah, I just wonder if maybe some people were just, maybe put off by some of the stuff, like little tiny references, because when they referenced the oxygen destroyer, you and I were like, oh damn, and this person was like, oh yeah, great reference, bro, and I was like, oh okay, like yeah, because like it was so I don't know.
Yeah,
I
heard that and I lost my shit.
Yeah, well, I think the one for me that I got the most was when we see the sister. Of the one Asian woman, we see her sister saying like, "Oh, Mothra's beautiful," and I'm just like, "Yeah." And I looked at her and I was like, "That's not her," because obviously she's with a different team, but they look like they might be related. And I was worried at first and saying that out loud until it was like, "Oh yes, that's my twin sister," and I was like, "Thank fucking God, thank fucking God," because the last thing you want to say out loud is, "Boy, those two people who shared the same race look alike." It's like,
right. Although, you know what the kind of funny thing is? So it's two different characters. It's, Dr. Eileen Chen and Dr. Ling. They're the two sisters that are the reference for Mothra, the sisters that summon Mothra and do the song and everything. Which is nice, I like that too. They are actually played by the same actress.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. All right. But you couldn't just find two twins? Really?
I guess not.
So I love that WB is just like, do you know how much money we spent on Godzilla's paint alone? Just the man's paint. Do you understand? We're not going to fucking spend money
alone.
We're not going to spend money on someone else. No.
Granted, you only see Ling for a split second because they flash back to the Mothra containment site.
No,
when
it's
she's
just
hatching
always
from the chrysalis, but
it's just always fun, like how even though this is the reverse, how Full House had little Michelle, and no one ever knew. At least not no one ever, but like at the time it looked like one giant long name. Whereas like why is her name Mary Kate Ashley Olsen? And like after like a few years, people were like, wait, she's played by twins? What the fuck?
Right.
And it's funny because like as a baby, it wasn't just as a baby. Even when she grew up like somewhat, because the show wasn't on for like 20 years, but still when she grew up somewhat, she was still played by them both during certain parts. So it's just really funny how like in this case it's just like, well, we needed her to be her twin for like a second. Does she have a sister? Who fucking cares? Let's just hire her twice.
Right.
Because usually nice little like Easter eggs like that was actually her twin or her cousin. I mean, Doctor Who with Amy Pond, right? You know little tiny Amy that was in the first few minutes of like series 10? That was her cousin in real life.
Oh shit. Oh right. Yeah. Yes,
exactly. That's why that's like so fun, like little stuff like that. But in this case, it was just like, no, we are hiring her twice because all we have to do is just put her in the same whatever green screen shot with all those. We just have to have a different set of people around her. That was it. And she has to go like, wow, that looks pretty, and then that's it. But no, I didn't. Yeah, I don't despise the movie. Like I think I hype myself up too much, which sucks because I do that sometimes. So that just that's a personal thing. Like just personally, I hate that I do that because sometimes I'm like, this is gonna be the best thing ever, and then it's like that was not the best thing ever. But it definitely doesn't deserve to like flop at the box office. I just think that it does show you that maybe, just maybe, I don't know how much money they spent on random ass monsters, but maybe you don't need to build up all this. First off, putting all that money into these CGI models that don't really end up fighting anyway. So even though it sounds crazy.
Some of the other kaiju.
Yeah, because it's crazy to hear about 19. There were 19 of them. Right, but all anyone cares about, unless they are other references to other monsters, all anyone really cares about is Rodan, Godzilla, Mothra, and Ghidorah. Right. And they barely showed any of the other ones fighting, really.
Yeah.
They were mostly bowing, honestly, to Ghidorah. And then once it's Godzilla versus Ghidorah and Mothra helps, then we have Rodan be his backup, and I'm like, hold on, sir. No.
Right, yeah.
Right, but even putting that aside, that little fanboyism, still, they spent so much money doing all of that it's kind of like, look, it's nice to raise the stakes, but it would, you know what it would be like? If you like, let's bring this back to Dragon Ball Z, because when do we fucking not? It would be like, everyone's been revived again. It's funny, this sort of happened once-ish.
Oh, no.
Twice, technically. But no, everyone's revived again, but we're really not going to show any fights other than maybe one with Frieza. And, like, it's not like it's a short movie like Fusion Reborn. We're talking about, like, a 2-hour fucking film, right? I mean, this was what, 2 hours and 20 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. 2:16.
Yeah. So you end up having a situation where you have all of these especially as much as, I'm not saying it doesn't cost a lot of money to animate someone like Frieza, but, like, it's costing a lot of money to try to blend all of these kaiju in with live action. A lot of money. So even just creating them, to me, is a decent chunk of change.
Oh,
so you're doing all of that, and I feel like there really wasn't a payoff other than it just adds on to the budget, and then you're working against yourself trying to get people to come watch this, especially with such a large gap in the releases, which, hey, look, there's a lot of CG that goes into it, I get it, but think about it, right? 2014 Godzilla came out in 2014, 5 years ago. Then Kong came out 3 years later, and then this came out 2 years after that. So I wonder if, because they already seem to be done with, or at least done filming, so they're not going to cancel it, Godzilla versus King Kong, if that comes out by 2021, as it should, that actually might draw in more people than this movie did, funnily enough.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Because I think
just from names alone,
not even just names alone. I think it's just relevance in some people's minds. Now, I'm pretty sure you could still get 2014 Godzilla on Netflix or on Prime or something to watch it, but it's been 5 years. Like I'm not saying that no franchises can like still get a boost or last after that long, but usually they have some other tie-ins around the same time to help.
Right, yeah.
So like you look at something like Dragon Ball, right? And there's always a new video game.
Right.
There's always something to keep, the blood going there, right? The fandom going there. There's always some kind of relevance in some way or another. With through either Funimation or Toei or something, or Bandai Namco. But in this case, I think they're working on a Godzilla game, right? But it hasn't come out yet?
I don't know. There was one that came out 4 years ago now? Yeah, I think it was just after 2014 came out.
Right, and that's the thing, too. So I'm sure it built it up well for 2014's Godzilla, but the fact that it was just this movie, and nothing against, like, I'm not saying that you can't just have a movie, because I don't want to say that everything needs to be some, like, huge campaign to pump it all up and everything, but I think that with that long of a gap, because there might be some people that saw Kong Skull Island and were in the know Maybe, or they just saw it because they wanted to, and then they were like, "Oh my God, that's Godzilla!" And at the end.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It's still, there might be some people who just didn't watch Kong Skull Island, and if they didn't, and then they're watching this, they're just like, or they're seeing this and they're like, "Whoa, it's been a while." Like, also,
right, yeah.
I hate to be this person, but like, Endgame feels like it just came out, even though it wasn't the same weekend. With how much it's been dominating in the box office, it feels like it just came out like that same weekend. And you kind of wonder.
Well, Endgame was last month. Yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of wonder with Endgame, Detective Pikachu, Disney's Aladdin, which is something that you and I are writing off in theaters. We're like, nah, not really, but it's fucking Disney.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that probably plays a part in it too. That, and I don't know, I kind of feel like Godzilla is kind of still a bit niche here.
In the U.S., in the U.S., I would argue,
I really didn't expect many people who weren't fans of Godzilla to go see this.
Right. I mean, here's the thing, though. I don't think he was always niche, though. I mean, that's the thing. Like, Godzilla is, I would argue, like, I should also clarify, because, he is an icon here. No, but I think his star is kind of decreased. Probably needs one on the Walk of Fame or something. Has he gotten one on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? That'd be funny, seeing him in a suit again. He was in a suit at the L.A. premiere.
Right.
Did you see that? I loved it so much. Godzilla in a suit, and it fit. And I was like, good for him.
Oh, my God.
God bless him.
No, I don't think I saw that. That's fucking amazing.
Oh, I thought I shared it. I thought I sent it to you or something.
Oh, maybe you did.
Either way, though, Godzilla was at his own premiere. I'm pretty sure it was the L.A. one. In a suit and bow tie, by the way. Godzilla's a bow tie kind of kaiju.
Bow ties are cool.
Yeah, well. And so I think that Godzilla, I'm not saying that he is nothing now or anything like that, long live the king, et cetera, but I do think that he's always been an icon, in the U.S., especially, I think, the 90s. Thinking about a time when your dad, like, you were a kid, you went to the theater to see it with him, right? We've talked about this before. We're talking about U.S. Godzilla 98. You did see it with him, right?
Oh yeah, we went and saw that.
Exactly.
My whole family.
It was the perfect time to try to, especially because your dad, I made that joke in the beginning of the podcast because, your dad saw these movies in drive-thrus, right? Or like in, not drive-thrus. Not just I'm talking about drive-ins. I'm also referring to like just the, the monster creature show at the local theater. Yeah,
I don't actually know whether it was either in the theater or on TV or what.
Right. So I'm just saying that
It's funny. I have to ask him, like, what was the first time you actually saw Godzilla?
Because I was kidding when I said that he saw the 56 one in theaters. But another thing that happened, too, back in the day, though, is not that they don't do it now because they have, like, Fathom. No.
A few more years.
Right. But another thing, that's the thing, too, right? So what could have happened is he could have seen it on TV, seen that one specifically airing on TV, or they just like they do now in a sense, again, not as much, but they'll always put stuff back in theaters. So he could have just, seen it after school or something with some friends and been like, wow. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. But what I'm saying is, it definitely, there was a Godzilla mania at some point. I'm not going to try to sit there and even jokingly say that,
Millennium or Godzilla 2000, when that came out in theaters over here too.
Yes, exactly.
I think because of the name and it was the year 2000, but I saw that in theaters with my dad.
Oh, that's so cool. Because I know you saw a lot of the Japanese ones, dubbed in English, of course, but a lot of the Japanese ones with your dad, too.
Those we usually saw on TV together. My dad, would find it and he'd be like, "Hey, Tris, Godzilla's on." And I'm like,
Sci-fi. I mean, I remember back in the day, they marathoned them all the time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fucking
dude.
Need to bring that back.
Oh, yeah, when Sci-Fi wasn't SYFY.
Yes.
They were. I mean, I'm pretty sure they still marathon them then too for a bit. But yeah, no. When Sci-Fi had like the globe logo. Yeah, I remember them airing a lot of kaiju stuff. So, which I wouldn't watch the whole thing, but I would flip through. I'd be like, oh, this is really cool, and then it would go to commercial, and I'm like, and then I'm gone. Because I just didn't like commercials as a kid. But yeah, so when it comes to Godzilla, huge icon, but I do think that with how expensive it is to create these models, it then takes a very long time to have to do all of this, versus if they were still, so like looking at the Japanese side of things, right? If Japan was still making a new Godzilla movie a year or a new Godzilla movie every 2 years, guess what? It's super easy, Tristan, and we know this with Power Rangers, super easy to be able to just dub over people, or if need be, just hire people from like LA or from hell with new Power Rangers from New Zealand, right? Different what's it called?
Yeah.
Different no, it's a different set of like SAG rules or whatever you want to call it, acting, union, stuff like that. Going to New Zealand is cheaper. I believe they're non-union perhaps, but yeah, it's cheaper to go get people from New Zealand and film there for Power Rangers and then dub over all of the fight footage versus if they had to create a brand new Power Ranger series completely from scratch. Even though newer ones do have more filming done, still they have all of the suits already. But imagine trying to create a brand new CGI Power Rangers, which kind of sort of happened with the 2017 version, and that also didn't do well, not just in the box office, but it's just a lot of money putting down to create all these new CG effects, all of these new Zords, all of these new suits.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually saw that in theater.
I still haven't, funnily enough. I don't know how. I just haven't.
I went for a friend's birthday party.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, which is so funny because like every time I see him, we talk about wrestling, but we should just start talking about Power Rangers too. I forgot that he's also in the Power Rangers. But yeah, so it's one of those things where I think that it's because of them, and not that they've been bad, just trying to create your own thing. It's so much money that's poured into it, and you can't really, I guess, make that back. I don't think it's not even like Godzilla's niche necessarily. It's just and another thing too, and I'm sorry that I'm ranting about this because I'd love for you to jump in with your thoughts on this right after I say this. One little thing. It feels as if nowadays a blockbuster can only exist if one person wants to see it 8 fucking times. And it's not their fault. Like, people spend their money how they want to spend their money. I'm not trying to police people here. It's just really frustrating that I wonder if you seeing it a second time with your dad and your dad seeing it for the first time is like, well, you guys are slacking. Why aren't you seeing it with 5 other people? And it's like, that's like Endgame is, I'm not saying Endgame was not popular and, only 5 people saw it like 30 times. Like, no, that's silly. But there definitely is a culture, specifically around Endgame, of people being like, oh, I want to see the movie again to analyze it. Let me go pay for it. And I'm just like, nah, bro, I'm going to wait till it's on Disney streaming service, and then I'll analyze it all I fucking want to. I've seen it once. Yeah. It's worth seeing it again, I'll admit, but I'm not interested in seeing it 3 to 5 times.
Right, yeah.
But there are some people who are like, no, it's been out for a month, or at least when we saw Godzilla, it was out for a bit. And it's like, yeah, no, I'll see it once every weekend. And it's like, even if it's a different set of people, that's still a lot. Unless your theater is like, it's really cheap, Right. But, because believe me, $8 theater, I will admit, I'd be like, you know what, I'll see Endgame again, hell yeah. Right?
Yeah, right.
But me spending $13,
even me, like, I'll go with different groups of friends for a movie if other people want to see it.
Of course.
But, yeah, like, I think the most I've seen something is 3 times. And that's pretty rare. So
was that? I feel like something tells me on the inside it was a Star Wars thing.
Yeah, it was Star Wars.
Let me take a guess. Was it Episode 7?
No, I think it was 8.
8. Oh no! Now we got. Oh no! 8 times. Oh no! 7, 8 times. 3, 8 times. Whoa! You must have been hating it every time, right? because no true Star Wars fan could like Star Wars Episode 8.
I'm not going to comment on that for my own sanity.
Well, you've already commented on that. We did a podcast on it.
We did.
Yeah, I love it.
And I'm pretty sure I was vocal about it then, so if you want to hear that, go listen to that.
See, that's fine, but I love how you just went for a full-on, like, politician's denial. Just like, I would not like to comment on this. Do we tell him? Do we tell him that he's already? Do we tell him?
He's already done it.
Mm-hmm.
I would not like to comment on this again.
That's fair. All right, so still though, how do you feel about that? Because again, you've mentioned you saw Episode 8 3 times, and again, that made sense. One of them was with me? ?
I don't think so.
All right, that's fair. One of them was with
I think it was
your
two
dad.
other friends.
One of them was with
and
Anthony.
Then,
Toto.
With my parents. Yes.
Oh, okay, got it.
And then one was another friend.
Got it. So, who did I see that with in theaters? I know we saw Solo together. That was fun.
Yes, we did. I have fun.
We picked that one. I love it. 7, Rogue One, and 8. Let's go to Solo.
I again also commented already on that too. So
Solo's box office is the Misa of box office numbers for Star Wars. Just for the box office numbers, that's all. I'm not commenting on the film because I actually quite liked it. But it is, box office-wise, it is the Misa of Star Wars. But anyway, so how do you feel about this kind of culture around movies now where it feels as if to let something like Godzilla or other movies that are blockbusters survive, it feels
with
as if
such
it
a
is,
budget.
it feels as
see it 8 times.
Yeah, and look, you can call that, anyone listening, and you can call that hyperbole, but there are some people who, Avengers has been out for, I don't know how many, by the time we're recording this, I don't know how many weeks, to be fair, but they've probably seen it 5 times. Now, we're not commenting on those people, but we are commenting on that business model. Do you think that maybe that's going to burst, or do you think that this is this is maybe a side effect of that? Like, or do you think it's everything else I've mentioned? Like, why do you think this movie right now is not doing as well as predicted by you and I or others?
Well, I mean, I guess it's more in the hopes of the people who made it, hoping that they can make back what they made. Although I've seen interview, I'm pretty sure it was with the director himself, but it seemed like, making this, obviously you want to make money on your movie. Like, come on, that's, everybody has to. But, like, it seemed more of a labor of love in that because he loves Godzilla as well. So it made me happy that at least hearing him talk about it, it sounded like he just wanted to make a good Godzilla film and kind of worry about the rest afterwards.
And I hear you there, but do you think this movie though is a casualty of that type of culture, or do you think? By the way, do you think that type of culture exists? Like, because I think it exists. I've heard people talk about movies like that recently. Have you heard that as well in your circle? Like,
I feel like it's a thing. Yes, with big blockbusters like this, when you have titles, like Avengers and Star Wars and other big names like that coming out, a lot of people go see them just for the title alone. And, we kind of argued that, Godzilla does have that same effect, but it doesn't pull the same amount of weight, unfortunately. Yeah. At least here, at least in the States.
And I think, or at this time specifically, I would argue.
Yeah,
like right here and now, yes. Yes, so as of right now, and I should note, continue.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the idea that not all series can be that giant movie that everyone goes to see, whether it be 3 times or 8 times, not
That's
everything's
why,
going to be able to do that, and not everything is going to be able to do that consistently either.
And that's why Power Rangers works. And this is not me talking even about the story. Again, just jumping back to the budget. If Godzilla, and some would argue that people wouldn't go see this, but I think if they had done something where it was like no CG, or not no, but like puppets, and then CG on top of puppets, or suits, whichever. I'm imagining finger puppets now. Ah! Dun 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 dun. Those little tiny finger puppets. But but seriously though, people in suits and then putting CG on top of that, rather than doing motion capture and trying to have them blend into the scene and creating all these digital fictional cities, maybe just adding digital any type of CGI on top of those cities. While some people would say, oh, no one would go to see that. Yeah, but looking at the numbers for this, it doesn't seem like a ton of people went to see this either, and they spent a lot of money on this. So I'm talking about it as a cost-cutting measure because guess what? Power Rangers still does put a dude in a suit and put 5 other people in suits, technically more depending on the Power Rangers or the Sentai in the main group, but the main set of heroes. But yeah, put 5 to 10 people in a suit. Have them fight the bad guys who are also about, other than Monsters of the Week, 5 people in a suit, right? And then you call it an episode, and then you make a fake city, and when the explosions happen, and, you can clearly see that they're like cardboard, you still watch the show, or kids are still watching the show, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, and it's been going on for years. It's had turbulence, but it's been going on for years. But you look at the amount of money that's spent on something like this, I don't know. I'm not saying that there isn't a huge fan base, but it's really hard to make that back, especially with how streaming culture is now too. We should also, I can't believe I forgot about streaming culture. The idea that, which you and I practice this, at least with what we talked about, waving off Disney's Aladdin because we could see it maybe on Disney streaming service, or we could see it on Netflix. Yeah. Why do we need to see that in theaters? Even though the theater that we went to, it was the last showing of everything, right? All of the families coming out, they came out of Aladdin.
Right, yeah.
There were other movies playing.
Makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
For the kids,
no, because the kids are interested. The adults who maybe grew up on Aladdin are also like, let's check this out. For me, I loved Aladdin as a kid. You guys probably know this if you've been listening for a while. I loved Aladdin as a kid, but just this one didn't really click with me enough to make me run to the theater. $8 theater, sure, perhaps. But even then, I was like, nah, but if it's between this and Godzilla, dun dun dun.
I basically, we walk into the theater, we part ways. It's like, this is where we part ways, man.
Nah.
I was like, my theme music plays, I walk into the ocean.
No. I will accept Disney's Will Smith's Genie versus Godzilla.
Oh my God.
I would.
He remember? Rushes up. You ain't never had a friend like me. Fucking,
no,
Godzilla.
Can you imagine if just Will Smith just snapping his fingers and Godzilla turning into different versions of himself?
Oh my God!
Like it goes from like the 56
Godzilla
suit.
just kind of turns like to the screen and like looks at everybody watching and he's like, "Arr."
Just like different Showa suits. You see one of them being the Zilla suit. Or the Zilla CG,
God.
Like it would be fucking great.
Jesus.
That's a movie. You know what's funny? WB needs to go in the absurd direction. Do you know that comic book? No, seriously. Do you know the comic book that had Charles Barkley versus Godzilla?
Yes.
They gotta go there now. They have to go in that weird. No, because I think weird sells. And I think maybe, his Weird clearly is selling now. Going balls to the wall crazy. I mean, we're not going to spoil anything, but the plot of Endgame does not make sense on paper. On paper, 20 years ago, you would have been laughed out of a writer's room if you wanted to tell that story. But it fucking worked. Not for everyone, but it fucking worked. It was a fun time. And I'm not saying that King of the Monsters wasn't a fun time, but maybe some people felt like it took itself too seriously. Even though there was that one character who consistently made quips. And I liked him.
Yeah.
His actor was also in Get Out. Cool actor.
Yeah. Oh,
consistently
Bradley
made
Whitford.
quips.
He's also in West Wing. That's where I knew him from.
Really? I didn't know you watched
I kept
West
looking
Wing.
at him the whole time.
Was it you or your mom?
I know you.
Wait, was it you or your mom, and you were just sitting there?
Well, yes.
Okay. No, because in my head I'm like, okay, no, okay. Because in my head I'm like, Tristan doesn't just casually pull out West Wing. The same way when you were like, yeah, Murder, She Wrote is cool, and I was like, Grandma, and you were like, Grandma. Like, because if any of you guys have been listening for a while, Tristan's existence includes, you could say his hobbies, but really his existence includes Dragon Ball Z, Star Wars, and Godzilla. There, it's a fucking wrap. Now Tristan's gonna be like, excuse me,
no, wait,
sir.
you forgot one.
Travis
Jurassic
Touchdown.
Park. Oh. That too. We were just sticking to movies, so.
You're right. Just a raptor on the shitter. Just a raptor. That's where you save. But do you want to go into that bathroom?
You know what the worst part is? I can see it.
I don't know about you.
I can see.
I saw it with a newspaper in its hand.
Scene, but there's a raptor sitting on the toilet.
But with a newspaper in its hand, and it's chuckling while looking at the Godzilla box office numbers.
Well, now I can. Vividly, actually. That's terrifying, actually. You're scaring me. Stop.
Blame the puppeteers. By the way, that's another movie where, like, look at Jurassic Park mostly still holds up, and a lot of it was animatronics. I'm just saying.
Although, I mean, a lot of people were not happy with their latest installment either, so.
Right, but for completely different reasons.
Yeah.
I would argue. Yeah, so that's the thing. I think that but I'm talking about not Fallen Kingdom. I'm referring to like the original Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
People still talk about that pretty much holding up, even though because a lot of it is animatronics.
Right.
With CG on top of it. So in this case, I'm wondering if maybe Godzilla needs to go. Maybe not suits. All right, some of you guys detractors. Okay, but definitely maybe it needs to go in a more animatronic section with CG on top to kind of hide things. Right. Because I think
Pacific Rim did that too.
Well,
even
also
their budget
Pacific
was still pretty high.
Well, Pacific Rim had some other issues. So one thing, too, is as much as I love Pacific Rim, it was a new property, which is very hard to do.
True.
Like, Godzilla has name recognition, at least.
Yeah, right? That's fair.
And two, another thing as well is with Pacific Rim, they went in the, I'm thinking, I feel like they went in the direction of, like, we're going to show these people, but we're going to have a lot of monster fights, like even more. Maybe not than King of the Monsters, but definitely more than the original Godzilla. And that, of course, skyrockets your fucking budget as well. Also, the actors that they hired. In both of these Godzilla movies, they were actors that I knew, but no one crazy when compared to Pacific Rim, where they got Idris Elba.
Right.
And they got Idris Elba, and I'm thinking who else they got. Actually, no, mostly, to me, unknowns other than Elba. But still, though, I'm wondering if, also an ensemble cast will do that as well. Even though you might not have them have a lot of screen time, that's still a lot more bodies. And this movie, with their eco-terrorist plot, they had to hire a lot of different extras. So it's kind of funny how they didn't they didn't really have a lot of development, if you will, with some of these characters. But, man, were there a lot of bodies around at all times.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I'm wondering if they could have cut down on some of that and maybe saved even just minimally in the long run. Because, man, because this movie was, you could tell how much money was put into it. Like you said, labor of love.
Oh, yeah.
How much was put into this to try to make a good monster movie. And I think it was a great monster movie. I just feel like again, I understand. Even though I would have wanted less of the humans interacting, I can understand why someone would say that it's a little hollow, especially with the fact that because here's the thing too, right? I know that the world's going to shit, so everything has to like keep moving somehow. But it felt like everyone was really cool with the mom's, war crimes. Like not war crimes, but like with the mom's, eco-terrorism shit. Like everyone was like pretty dope with that. They were like, "Hey man, it's us versus the monsters now." And I'm like, "Yeah, but she was working with the guys trying to make the monster." Because think about it. Technically, the monsters would have quote unquote never been released. Not never, but it would have taken years until she was breaking them out of shit. Dormant. Yeah,
they were all dormant. Like when you see her in the beginning, when they're looking at Mothra, like Mothra was already waking up. The caterpillar was waking up. There was no stopping that.
Yes.
So they were just trying to like, hey, how about you chill and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, they physically Ghidorah was frozen in a huge fucking block of ice. They went in there and woke his shit up. Yeah.
No, and it was just like I'm pretty sure they mentioned global warming at some point in the movie. Oh, something else I liked as well.
Oh yeah.
The movie did have environmentalist themes, which Godzilla has had for like the last since its inception. They've had themes of like anti-war, anti-this, anti-that. So that did exist within the film, which is nice. But at the same time, though, it feels as if not that they were dropped off. It's just more so that the mom didn't I feel like they were trying to have her account for her, not account, but to have her pay for her crimes through her sacrifice, but that it also kind of made her a hero when it's like, but like you're an eco-terrorist. Not that you can't have some type of redemption, but like even at the beginning of the movie, you have I can't remember her character's name, Little Tiny 11 from Stranger Things. She's just like, Mom, there's something. Mom's not well. She's not sick, but she's not well.
Madison, I think was her character's name.
Madison, thank you. Oh, she was fucking hilarious. She she flipped the dude off just by scratching her eye.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yes. Also, question, side note, I haven't seen the trailers in a while, and I think you haven't either, but we did cover them for an episode of Toku Station, which is something that I do usually on our TG Productions channel, sometimes even live on our Twitch, where I talk about different Toku news. And I think we also talked about Godzilla, one of those trailers, on Keikaku Corner, which is also something you and I do where we talk about different, anime, manga, stuff like that, news. But I have a question, though. I know it's been a while, but I want to just clarify something with you. Was it our or my prediction going off the rails, or did it really seem like Madison's character initially could speak to monsters?
Yeah, the way the trailers were cut up originally, I got that vibe as well.
Even though I like when a movie trailer does not give everything away, I do think that's terrible marketing, though. Not terrible, but I do think that's shitty, Mark. Because when you're given the wrong impression, because I thought she was also the main character via the trailers.
Yeah, right.
But no, it was generic white man. Who he wasn't terrible at as an actor. He wasn't terrible as a character. He wasn't terrible, but man, was he generic. Like I thought she was going to be the main, and she was going to be like. Not going up against them, but she was going to be like psychically talking to them and being like, it's okay, we can work together. Brother, my brother, tell me, what are we fighting for? Man, we got to win this war, my brother, my brother. I thought she was going to be doing that.
Right. And I kind of find it interesting that, for an American movie, I understand why they kind of didn't go that way, because if this was Japanese made, that we totally would have been there. We would have been there.
100%. I actually agree with you 100%.
For 30 minutes, we would have been there.
I agree with both of those.
They go the route of her
tech.
mom and dad basically making the machine to then communicate with the monsters.
Mm-hmm. But
which I
she's
also thought was interesting too. But
she's also
the point where she runs off with it to be like,
so she's
I'm going to try and make things right.
because she's kind of a whiz kid, sort of. But, like, they also, that's another thing, too. So, like, when someone says, oh, they're not developed, I don't know how I feel about, like, as a family. Like, I think as a family they've told their story. But in terms of, like, oh, she's a whiz kid.
Individual characters.
And she's just supposed to be a whiz kid. Like, we just have to accept that, like, she also knows the text so well. And it's just, like, I don't know. For me, personally.
I feel like she's the most developed out of all three of them.
But yet we got more screen time from the dad, I would argue.
Yeah.
Because he's with the military.
Yeah, right.
So we get more screen time, at least initially. I'll admit, the second half of the movie, that's what's so weird, too. The movie feels like it reverts from, like, and I know some people could say that's an ensemble cast, you fucking idiot, but for me it feels as if, not that, like, because with ensemble cast, you really try to focus on everyone and give everyone ample screen time if you can. In this case, it felt like I feel as if the one half of the movie was heavily focused on the dad with the military, and then the other, like, last maybe, like, 30 minutes, heavily focused on Madison. Yes, they sprinkled in toward the end of the end, like, you know, the dad and the mom trying to find Madison. But it was, I don't know, I just feel as if not that the movie should have been longer or even shorter, I would argue. It's just that there was so much they had to juggle, and I feel like maybe even though a family was a great, like, family isn't a bad dynamic to have in a movie, but with everything you need to juggle as well, the thing with sequels is usually a good sequel, not a good sequel, but a sequel in general, is trying to build off on what you've created in the first movie so you don't have to introduce everyone again. This sequel had a huge issue where they had to introduce everything again.
New characters again. Yeah.
Including new monsters. So it just juggled too much, I would argue. And I think that could be, I would argue, just because I'm also saying it, that's a good way to critique it. But if you're just like, no, need more people, less monsters, I'm like, whoa, buddy. I think
I'm going to stop you right there.
Just yamate.
You get the atomic breath.
Which is just me. Just me just
spitting
breathing
out a blue Slurpee or something. I don't know.
No, it's just my breath. Gotta use a breath mint.
And your tongue is blue for whatever reason.
Whatevs, man.
Not sure. Might want to go see a doctor about that.
Doctor, what do you have to say about that? It's just Godzilla in a lab coat. The test results came back positive. You're awesome. Thanks, doctor.
You're irradiated. Ooh.
No, doctor. Oh, another thing as well, and again, I know it's really hard to do because of, you know, this movie having to consistently move on, but I felt as if some people's deaths were potentially unneeded. Now, hear me out. I feel as if Dr. Serizawa's death is sad. I was sad.
Yeah.
You were very sad. But I was not as sad as you were. And the reason why is because I felt as if the movie did not give me a reason why Serizawa needed to be the only one to do it. Now, he is, because here's the thing, right? Is he he's very knowledgeable about this. Obviously, he studied this for a long time. But who among them is more trained to do something like that? That is not something you study when you're trying to study all of these kaiju phenomenons. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because that's
like,
kind
why
of been
did
handed
he
off
have
to Mark now, the dad.
Right.
He gets Serizawa's journal at the end, which arguably probably should have gone to Dr. Chen, you know, who was working side by side with Serizawa.
Another issue as well. So I would argue that they flubbed up things with the humans, but not more so that we didn't have as much.
The other doctor as well, she died when they were fighting Ghidorah.
Yeah.
I would argue that was kind of unneeded as well. Like, why did she have to go? I liked her character.
Exactly. Yeah, so it seems as if they were just writing them off. Yeah, and that's what's also frustrating as well. Now, you could argue, well, Serizawa didn't have any kids, so he was like, he didn't have anyone else other than her working alongside him, so it's like, well, why am I going to do this, you know, anymore? Like, I feel as if, you know, all is lost. But usually in a film, I don't know, especially one that's trying to push the kind of hope that this one does. Usually it would be nice if you flip the script and you're like, no, you must live on for her. And it was kind of just like, well, I mean, he wants to kill himself, so fuck it. I mean, anyone else wants to kill themselves? No? All right, well, then let's let Serizawa do it.
I mean, I think it was symbolic that it was Serizawa who was the one who wanted to go in and be the one to save Godzilla, because he's always the only one who ever realizes that, guys, stop trying to fight him.
No, yes.
Just let him do his thing.
Yes, and we definitely, and that's a beautiful moment, seeing him call him an old friend. It's beautiful. No, it's beautiful and it's touching. It's just we do have to ask the question, why not anyone else other than the dad and other than Dr. Chen? What other...
I mean,
looking at...
I feel like there wouldn't have been any other character in that cast that would have been like, yeah, I'll sacrifice myself to bring back our basically only hope for this situation.
Okay, now I'll give you that, but then they all would have died. So I feel like, I don't know, I'm not saying that it doesn't do anything for Serizawa, because yes, you could argue he has integrity, valor. He wants to help them out and sacrifice himself for everyone, and that's understandable. But I think because they killed off his assistant earlier, it made it seem like he was more on the path of suicide, really. Like, well, or rather, I want to die. So it comes off as a bit more like. Also, it comes off as a way to write off his character, so he doesn't have to appear in other films.
Right.
Where it's just, I don't know. I'm not saying the actor wanted to leave. It's just you write him out that way. Where for me, I feel as if there was just, not that there shouldn't be a lot of death in this, but there was certain deaths that it felt as if they had to happen to continue the plot, rather than the movie set it up so that death makes sense, quote unquote. Like it was always going like it didn't feel like Serizawa sacrificing himself for Godzilla like it was this was always going to end this way. Like usually a movie, when you're watching something, you have little bits of foreshadowing, or when you rewatch
I feel like the foreshadowing for me was when they mentioned the oxygen destroyer. As soon as they mentioned that, I'm like, oh, you motherfuckers are gonna fuck this up, aren't you?
No, that's true. No, but I mean that why Serizawa would have to be the one to do what he did.
Right.
Like you, and maybe to be fair,
honestly,
maybe
I feel like it would have been better if the general had done it, because his character I feel weird about. What I'm trying to look for the actor, but because he's another returning character, and you only see him for that scene. You see him for like 2 scenes, and that's one of them. When they're in the sub saying, oh, we've been secretly developing the oxygen destroyer, we think it will, take them both out.
Okay, bye.
And then, granted, he was the one who okayed the nuclear attack in the first movie, but it felt like he kind of, or I don't know, maybe he didn't. But, like, I had felt like him and Serizawa talking to each other, he kind of learned his lesson from the first time.
Right.
And that him coming back with another bomb this time, being like, well, nothing else has worked, so we're doing this. And just going ahead and doing it without anyone else's, like, because they basically just come up in the sub, say, hey, we got this new thing, we're going to try it out. Wait, who okayed this? I did.
Yeah. Can I also just
that feels like a total waste of his character arc. I feel like he went back to square one.
I mean, to be fair, you could argue, he could have said something like that was an order, but you're right though, because he's like, look, my hands are tied. It does come off as, you're right, like he hasn't learned anything over the last 5 years.
Because it didn't. I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong. It's been almost a week now, but I don't think in that line of dialogue he said, I have to do this. I was ordered to do this. It felt like they were just like, we're out of options. We're doing this.
Exactly.
Like, dude, what the fuck? Have you learned nothing?
Speaking of being out of options, I want to mention something. So I'm happy that Madison survived, and I'm happy that we, and of course her dad as well. And I wish her mom survived, just so that like there could be some type of repercussions for her actions.
Yeah, at least that
Yeah.
their family could come back together again, because
Yes.
like they had already
Yeah.
they had lost their son, her brother. That was their
Mhm.
that was all of their motivations for what was going on. They lost a child in the first attack in 2014.
Yes.
And then seeing now the mother go too, it feels like they don't have a chance to recover from that first death and come together as a family and heal again. I mean, granted, you're right. Even if she had lived, she probably would have gone to prison.
But here's what's also something I have to mention as well. Well, no, I have to ask who knows
prison
too.
left to go
Thank
through
you.
after this movie.
Thank you, and that kind of leads me into my next point. I'm happy that King Kong versus Godzilla is happening. I'm just confused, like, are they going to fight in destroyed New York or destroyed Los Angeles? There are no superheroes in this world. There isn't a
right,
Superman who could
universe.
be like, don't worry, I'll get this done, even though it's made by DC, obviously different companies. So you don't have different subdivisions. So you're not going to have Superman be like, don't you guys worry, I'll be able to fix up this city in a jiffy. And then it's like, Batman's like, oh, I know a guy who has a lot of money who could definitely help fund this, right? So
I think
like,
the way they were teasing things at the end of the movie, it sounds
Yeah.
like everything's going to go down on Skull Island.
Right.
Like, we're going to go back to Skull Island.
Yeah, but like what I'm trying to get at is this: with the wanton destruction, which I'm not saying we can't have it in a movie like this, but with the wanton destruction, especially in a series that, in this universe rather, in a universe where it doesn't seem like they're used to this. Yes, the first movie happened, but even after the first movie, I was like, it seems like they could rebuild, but it's going to kind of hurt. And then 5 years.
Yeah, because it was
but it took 5 years.
West Coast.
Yeah,
right.
It was just L.A. Yeah, so well, not L.A., but it was.
I mean,
Cali.
Hawaii had some damage too.
Oh, you're right. He came from Japan. Literally, he was just like, I want to take a vacation. Where should I go?
Right, and Japan was
like,
still. I mean, granted, that was one area because they had the nuclear reactor in that area go down.
Yeah, so it was Japan, it was Hawaii, and then it was Cali. Right, he was making his way around, doing all going to all the sites, all the tours.
And Las
he was
Vegas.
like. Yeah, right. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Vegas for a bit. Just rolled the dice.
Right. Well, because of the nuclear waste buried out there.
Oh wait, wasn't I thought is that a joke based on 1998's Godzilla when he was literally in? It was just a lizard in Vegas or something. Or
no,
was he actually
one of the other Mutos was in. Yeah.
Okay.
The nuclear waste facility because they fed on radiation. So.
Right. Thank you. But in this movie, it was everywhere. Not even U.S. I'm talking about global.
Yeah. The globe. Yeah.
How do you rebuild when? And granted, the shots were cool. Having Rodan fly like that and having people fly, it was terrifying, but in a good way. Like I needed to be scared of Rodan or these other Mutos, these other monsters.
Got completely leveled. Holy shit.
So so I'm not saying that people can't rebuild because it's humanity. We always rebuild.
Right.
Things happen and we rebuild. But that on that scale, it's kind of like, as much as I want to see a Godzilla versus King Kong, like they should probably recast and do that shit in 20 years in their timeline. Like, how are you gonna be like, oh yeah, in about 5 years, even though we're gonna see it in 2 years, but we're gonna wait 5 years to do another movie. It's like, I don't know, guys.
I mean, it is funny though because oddly enough, with all the destruction that did happen, it kind of came to pass what the environmentalist, the extreme environment group,
the eco-terrorists. You can call them that. They really are.
There we go. No, exactly. No, you're right. I was I'm like, God, I forgot the word. Yes, eco-terrorists.
Yes. Yeah.
No, they are not environmentalists.
Well, I mean, they are, but they're terrorists about it.
Right. That's why I said extremist at the end. But yeah. Anyway, because the whole idea was bringing the world back to balance. Humanity being a plague on the earth, and You know, I mean, hey, you've got some points in there, but obviously going about it in the facet of, hey, let's let's Thanos this, let's destroy half the population, and that'll set things right again. Okay, I see where you're I see where your end game is here. Oh God, I made that pun. Didn't mean to do that. Anyway, but obviously the means of doing so, the ends do not justify the means.
Yes. Listen, White Raj Al Ghul. Let's talk about this for a second. All right. God. No, he's basically. I don't know if you know this. Ra's al Ghul. Who? Do you know who that is? Batman villain.
Oh yes.
He's an eco-terrorist.
Semi-familiar. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, him and Talia, his daughter, who ends up fucking Batman because she's a woman in a Batman story.
Yes, I think
so
I remember hearing them through a game. Or another cartoon series, or maybe it was a comic. I can't remember now.
Oh, I thought Did you not play the visual novel? What was it? Telltale Batman or something?
Oh, right, that's what it was. I've seen bits of it. I haven't actually played it.
Oh, I haven't played it either, but I assume they'd be mentioned in it because Damian Wayne is his son through Talia,
right?
And she trains him to be an assassin.
Ah, okay.
But then he doesn't kill his dad, and his dad doesn't kill him, so then he becomes the newest Robin that then dies violently by Talia.
Right. Oh.
They brought him back, but holy shit. Oh, yeah, no,
holy
it was crazy.
Shit.
Yeah, no, dude, it was nuts. They brought him back, but literally Batman was going to the ends of the earth to try to bring back his kid. Like, he literally had, in their universe, this is comics, in their universe they have a Frankenstein. He literally had that, because I think that Frankenstein was both the monster and the doctor.
Oh,
right?
God.
So he has him on a table going, you're going to tell me how to bring people back to life. Otherwise, you're going out in pieces.
Oh, that never ends well.
No, it doesn't. Either way, Damien's cool now. He's alive. Everything's chill. But at the time, this shit was it was not okay.
But yeah, what my point is with them, the group, was that what they had kind of wanted kind of came to pass anyway, because if you see all the news clippings in the credits, it's talking about how the kaiju's coming back out basically kind of rejuvenates the planet in a way. Like the ocean gets a huge kickstart, and all of this either energy or nutrients or all these other things that have been buried in the earth or have been part of the kaiju's that have been asleep for God knows how long at this point, thousands of years at least, or hundreds at the very least.
Yeah,
which is all being reintroduced into the environment. So, I think there's the rainforest is coming back, the ocean, the fish population in the ocean. Basically, everything we're having a problem with in our, everyday life, like real life right now, was being fixed by the kaiju's coming back.
And that's a huge problem, because as much as I love kaiju, even the ones that want to help you, like Godzilla, we have to acknowledge that Godzilla's like, oh, fuck, I'm sorry. Like, he moves his tail and it fucking takes out a small building. He's like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. It's like, Godzilla, me and my family have had this store here for years. Oh, my God, fuck, I'm so sorry. You just destroyed my house. Oh, my God, dude, I'm so sorry. Look, I'm just trying to fight Ghidorah, who's, destroying everything right now. I'm so sorry. Godzilla's the worst for small business. He just completely annihilates all fucking small business. Well, because, a Walmart can take the hit, but not a fucking mom-and-pop store. And he's just consistently fucking shit up with his tail. So what I'm trying to get at here...
he's certainly helping the fishing industry, though.
That's what I'm trying to get at here. It's weird that, it turned into, well, thank goodness those eco-terrorists were right. They just had the wrong idea about it. It's just
Yeah.
It's no, because technically they were correct. If the kaiju had not been brought back and it was just kind of Godzilla running around, Godzilla wouldn't have destroyed everything, but we surely would have. And look, I'm not saying that that's
humanity would still be on the path that it was on.
And that's a good commentary on how we suck, but that shouldn't mean that the monsters need to exist to make everything better. Because it's but bro, they're still if Mothra flew... Even though it's not Rodan, it's Mothra, still, if Mothra flew low level, it would still cause the same amount of damage that Rodan did. Maybe less because it's not supersonic, but its gusts could still fucking it's not like a little tiny like wind blowing. Like, oh hey, the winds are blowing. Oh, that's Mothra.
An F5 tornado.
Yeah, by accident. Again, oh my God, fuck, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to like help my friend Godzilla. He's trying to fight Ghidorah. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Right. I mean, that's fair. But it also, we kind of got a little bit of a glimpse in that underwater sitting where Godzilla went to basically sleep off his hangover after getting hit with the oxygen destroyer, which did nothing to Ghidorah. I'd like to also mention, you
Ghidorah's from space.
bastards. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's when they come in. It's like, yeah, probably not going to do shit to him. Why is that, Doctor? He's not from Earth, you fuck. Oh, you probably should have told us that earlier. Well, I didn't think you were going to launch a fucking bomb at them, now did I?
What I love so much is that, like, you know who I feel the worst about? Like, someone sitting in the theater watching this movie who's, like, a huge Godzilla fan, but also works at NASA, who's like, no one even, like, gave us a call. No one referenced NASA once in this fucking movie. That's so sad. Right. Literally, the thing is from space, and you couldn't even have, like, thought, like, has maybe there been any, like, weird meteorites recently? Nope, nothing. Maybe, like,
I mean,
a friend of his
the
wants to come down?
MonsterVerse keeps going...
Nope. It won't.
The threats from space cannot. I know, but I can hope.
Oh well, no. What should happen? Well, no. Here's what should happen, Tristan. After Godzilla versus King Kong, the MonsterVerse should exclusively exist within comic books, because that shit would sell like hotcakes.
That's fair. Yeah.
Fucking
I would buy the shit out of that.
Hell yeah, I would too. Like comic books. Yeah.
A 2014 Godzilla comic series. Fuck yes.
Oh, that'd be interesting if it started from 2014 and built its way up to
up to King of the Monsters and then Godzilla versus King Kong and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying that it could exist after Godzilla versus King Kong and then introduce everyone you're talking about.
Right. Shit, they could make the series Monarch and just like start up from, when they were in the 70s or the 50s, actually.
I think they'd have to jump back and forth. I don't know if they could just do one full with Monarch. But they definitely should do something like that, I think. I think that would sell well. But, I mean, the problem is that, again, if they keep it up with this level of CGI and all that stuff, it's just it's going to keep on being more and more expensive. And something else I want to mention as well, just quickly, just jumping to, because I see I had the box office numbers up for a while now, but we haven't been able to talk about them. So as of right now, and we're recording this June 17th, right? So sadly this is not live on Friday, but we are recording this June 17th. The budget currently
been out for 3 weeks now, roughly.
Well, May 31st.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been out. Okay, so the budget is, not the budget, sorry, the domestic total. This is domestic. It is $93,688,172. So looking at domestic, 93, almost 94 million. Its production budget was 170 million.
Right.
Now, here's what's interesting. When you add in foreign, which, by the way, foreign, 245,800,000.
Right.
Now, here's the sad part, though. And that's not, by the way, this isn't worldwide. That's just foreign separate. But here's the sad part, though. Foreign, even though that's a large chunk of change, right?
They're not going to see most of that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the thing is that a large chunk gets given out to other companies that probably either license it out in their area or other movie theaters, things like that. So you get lower. I don't know the exact number, and I'm sure that rate changes between movie to movie and theater, but more deal to deal and company to company. Corporation was the word I was thinking of. Corporation to corporation.
There we go.
But still, though, overall, though, it is pretty cool how it made. 300 worldwide, $339,488,172. And again, like I mentioned much earlier, just to bring it back briefly, that's why I'm sitting here, and we've said this before, talking about other movies, Tristan. We're like, what the hell's going on here? Because if you told me, Matt, even putting a production budget aside, Matt, your movie made $93 million. I'd be like, holy shit.
Right.
That because I know you and I are just two regular Joes, but like that's just a large chunk of cash out there. And then to say, but sadly it didn't make its budget back.
Right.
Like I feel like we did something wrong, and not in the movie making process. I'm sorry, not in the release. Like we did something wrong in the process of making this to get that high. Like because it's just crazy to think that And I know if we look up Avengers right now, it's going to be like $97 billion. About like 8 Mark Zuckerbergs. But like I'm just saying that like oh, by the way, these numbers are by Box Office Mojo, just if anyone wants to look it up themselves. But still, I don't know, man. I just feel as if it's not you could argue it's the film itself. You could say, all this other stuff that we've been mentioning. But it is crazy to think about. By the way, Avengers Endgame, let's see, domestic, and it's been out since April 26th. $830,491,359.
My God.
Yes, and that's domestic. Foreign.
Alone, yeah.
It's made. Son of a fuck. Foreign, it's made. $1,912,000,000.
Yeah.
Wait, right?
Jesus.
Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ.
912
$912
going to be billion.
So worldwide, it's made almost $3 billion.
Right.
Now, again, obviously, we should have mentioned this earlier, much different in the sense that, Endgame is a culmination of an entire universe. Obviously. Right. That's an obvious. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be seen X amount of times. But, again, like, it's just crazy that, and by the way, the production budget was $356 million.
Right.
Which, obviously, with that large of a cast, that much CG, I get it. But, no, it's just, I don't know. I'm wondering if they could have shaved off somehow, if this Godzilla movie could have shaved off $70 million somehow, which I know I'm not someone who creates the budget. That sounds laughable to some people, I'm sure. But would animatronics have saved it compared to the CG? I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Either.
Because I know animatronics can cost a good amount, but the CG looked really good. I think there was only maybe like 1 to 2 parts, and I can't remember them because it has been a week since you and I have seen it, but there was 1 to 2 parts with the people who were in the scene that I was like, this looks fake. But the actual kaiju themselves blended in way too well, where they honest to God, I was like, yeah, no, this isn't even Uncanny Valley. These are real.
Right.
Oh, it might have been a scene when they were in Antarctica where I was like, all right, this looks a little odd. But again, it wasn't Ghidorah that was off. It was other people in the scene trying to react to Ghidorah. That I was like, this is weird. But no, Ghidorah is just, like, he looked great. Godzilla looked great. Mothra looked gorgeous. Like, I was and then it was kind of sad because, like, you knew they weren't going to use Rodan because he didn't look as good as the rest. If that makes sense.
I thought he still looked pretty good, but I knew he was kind of going to be in the background.
Mhm.
Although it's funny, I didn't actually expect them to go the route of, well, of course this is pseudoscience now, but like there being an alpha kaiju and that all the others would follow that one.
That actually thank you for reminding me of that because that pissed me off a lot, and here's why.
Yeah.
Here's why, right? It's pseudoscience. Alphas don't actually exist in the wild.
Right.
Groups actually work together. So wolves hunt as a pack, and they work together as a pack, right? They don't have one lone wolf alpha who comes in and takes advantage.
Right.
Yeah, leader. If someone tries to do that, like, oh, I'm gonna kill this wolf, and then I'm gonna take his wife and raise his kids, the group together would be like, are you fucking trying to take us on together? Because that's why you hunt together. Why would you run together if only one person is going to be making decisions? Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
right?
I mean that's more the idea of a pride of lions.
Yes, and that's fair in the Lion King.
Completely different social structure.
Yes, but the thing is, everyone thinks about it when they don't use lions as the example. They use wolves. That's why I jumped to wolves immediately. I don't think they did in the movie.
No, you're right.
They did in the movie.
They didn't.
Yeah, they just used the general pseudoscience BS of, there has to be a leader. And look, in the movie, the context of the film, I loved it. Because guess what? King Ghidorah is one of his names. Oh, God, they used Monster Zero. I fucking lost my shit when they called him that.
Yes, that was the other Monster
I was like,
Zero. Yeah, I love that reference because that's his American name. Or
Merkin.
That's
his
American
Merkin
name.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Godzilla versus Monster Zero.
Right.
And it's so funny. They had no reason to call him that other than I love just, we're aliens. We're calling him Monster Zero. Fuck you. Like, there was no reason. I love that. They could have called him Ghidorah. That's alien enough to American audiences in the 70s anyway.
Yeah.
No, fuck it. Monster Zero.
Well, because then Godzilla and Rodan, they were Monster 01 and Monster 02.
I guess, technically. But anyway, so
I'm pretty sure that's what they called him because we reviewed that one too.
No, but I'm pretty sure. I think maybe the aliens did, but they did call him Godzilla. But the humans called him Godzilla and Rodan.
No, the humans still call him Godzilla. Yeah.
But no, we reviewed Monster Zero. God, that movie was so interesting because they did Monster Zero, the English version, of course, King Ghidorah. I forgot what the official Japanese name was. But yeah, they were both very different from each other because it wasn't just like a typical we're dubbing this over. Like, it was cut in a different way. They had an actor it was the Japanese side, so Toho wanted to build him up. I forgot his name. So he was fluent in English, not in Japanese. So when you see the Japanese version, he's being dubbed over by a Japanese guy, but they're still in Japan.
Right.
And then the U.S. version, he's speaking in his normal, English, American accent, and then everyone else is getting dubbed over into English.
Right.
Fucking weird, dude. No, because with King of the Monsters, 1956 original U.S. Godzilla, they at least cut out most of the Japanese stuff, the Japanese live action folk, and they replaced them with that American dude, the one who felt like what's his name from fucking what's his name, Gregory Peck in To Kill a Mockingbird. He came off as that dude. I can't believe I forgot the character's name. God, I read that way too much in school as a kid. God damn it. Anyway, so side note. But yeah, so they replaced that footage. But in the case of Monster Zero, they just did a reverse dub depending on which version you watched. So when looking at Ghidorah here, though, I'm fine with him being quote-unquote King Ghidorah, and then it's just like, wait a minute, no, he's from space. And it's like, oh, good, you did keep that for real, but you tried to twist us, the fans, which I liked it a lot. I'm like, oh, good. It turned out to be that way, but you faked us out. I think I tried to see it coming. I was like, maybe he's still from space and nobody knows. I could swear I said that on us covering the trailers, but don't quote me on that. It's been a while. But either way, I'm happy we were fooled.
Because I was confused. Because that was the thing, the way this MonsterVerse has written things.
Yes.
Obviously the other monsters are of Earth. Godzilla is of Earth, and Godzilla is not a mutated monstrosity. He's actually part of an ancient ecosystem.
Yes.
So I was, wondering how they were going to fit Ghidorah in there, because I'm like, he's not from our planet. He has no.
And I liked it.
Yes. Yeah. Right. And then when you finally figure out, when they finally drop that information, it's like, he's not part of our ecosystem. I mean, I kind of got that idea when they went to Antarctica and he was frozen in the ice. I'm like, you fell from a meteorite, didn't you? Because that's the original story. But.
Yeah, so I took it as that too. But also another thing as well is the fact that it's just kind of funny, where it's just like, he does not seem to be part of our ecosystem. Yes, the dragon with 3 heads definitely seems to stick out for some reason. I don't know why. No, because
at least because he kind of acted like Serpentine for a bit.
Yes, true, very true.
Which
actually,
was actually really cool. And
it was.
3 heads having 3 different personalities was actually hilarious.
Yes,
just a little quip to have in there that was pretty hilarious.
Yes,
just the fact they're nipping at each other. One of them's always off doing something else, and the middle one is trying to rein the other 2 heads in to be like, fucking pay attention.
No, dude. If memes about, because there's memes about this movie right now, mostly about Godzilla and Mothra like being friends and together.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if there were memes about this movie coming out in like the '60s, those three heads would be Moe, Curly, and Larry. Like it would be the Three Stooges memes. But no one fucking remembers them.
Oh.
So they should, but sadly they've kind of they've also fallen out of kind of the public eye, but like Godzilla has.
Now you know what you must do, Matt. You must make it.
Must commission that from someone.
Post it onto those guys under our page.
No, yeah. If someone doesn't draw it, I'm just gonna Photoshop their three heads and just post it on the
There
fucking page.
Do it.
Anyway, I will. It's my mission in life. No, but seriously, when it comes to King Ghidorah and then Godzilla, the actual king of the monsters, I love that. I get it. But the pseudoscience bullshit is like, come on, guys. Like, you tried. Because here's the thing, right? The creators of the film, they've talked about this before, especially with the first movie. They tried so hard to make these monsters kind of resemble real predators in the wild.
How they tried to make Godzilla act more like an animal than just be the monstrosity coming out of the ocean to destroy shit. It's like, no, he actually has a behavior, a pattern, you know?
Yes.
Or even when he first appears and they're at the oil rig base for Monarch that they had. I think it was in I can't remember where they were. But Godzilla's like swimming up to them and he's like, hey! Shut that shit off! I can hear it from a mile away.
You want to be eaten or you want to live, motherfuckers? Which one?
And like, like his spines like just flashing on and off. It's like, what is he doing? I'm pretty sure he's challenging us. Put the guns down. What? Put the guns down. Like that was the one thing that saved his character, Mark's character, for me, the dad. Like once he started like going into like, I have some wildlife training, and it's like he's an alpha predator. Well, not an alpha, but like he's the top of the food chain. Do not fuck with him. What do you mean? He's about to blast us. Well, if you don't act aggressive towards him, maybe he won't fucking blast us off the face of the planet.
And I want to note, too, I said his character was generic before. That stuff that I like about him, it's just compared to the trailers and the way they made Madison's character look. And also, even though I haven't seen season 2 of Stranger Things, seeing the first season, seeing how, like, oh, wow, like, I can't remember, Millie Bobby Brown, I think, because I've seen her on Colbert a bit. I'm like, oh, she's actually a great actress. Being in this means that she won't just be some, like, random role, like a traditional, like, kid. Not that she should have psychic powers. I know that's being typecast. I get it. So that could be on me, just thinking that she'd be psychic because of Stranger Things. But still having her kind of take a back seat in most of the film, in my opinion, to the dad who I think he wasn't even in any of the trailers, I thought. At least the ones that I saw.
I don't think so, no. I don't. I don't remember him from the trailers.
You know,
like the mom
was
in the trailers.
And I didn't know if she was like her mom or like someone working with the organization who like really knows her well or something.
And it's funny because in the trailers it felt like she was the ominous figure. She was,
which
at least
technically
to
wasn't
me,
wrong.
she came off that way. Which,
technically not wrong.
wrong.
But then the movie shows her in a different light, and then it's like, well, no, I'm technically... Because at first it was like... Because there was a certain twist in this movie, too, that I was like, was it needed? So, like, was it needed for us to be like, oh, no, she's just kidnapped? And it's like, actually, she's working with us.
I've been working with them the entire time. Holy fuck, what?
And then when you do that, you're supposed to have me want to see her live, and then when she dies, it's like, wait, so am I supposed to be like, this is some great sacrifice for her kid? Yeah, no, it was just a weird. It was a weird tone. I don't know.
And
I mean, maybe they were.
I think it's the idea that it feels like none of the characters really brought anything new to the table either, because
new in what sense? Like in a Godzilla film or in a film in general? What do you mean? Or what do you mean? Like, what do you mean by new? No, I want to hear you out. I'm just curious.
Unique. Yeah, no, I'm looking back now, like the dad being, because it felt like each of them behaved exactly the way that you expected them to.
Interesting. Okay. Oh,
because
based on,
the dad is like,
okay.
I hate Godzilla because he took my son. It's like,
there
all right,
you go.
I get
yes.
that.
Yes.
And like, but then he would also flip back and forth. It's like, look, just because I don't like him doesn't mean I don't understand how an animal behaves. So like, he still had that going for him, but he was still like throughout almost the whole film, he was like, no, fuck him. It's like, but
yeah.
you were like. You're telling us things that we need to know about him and how he behaves. It's like, just because I know how he behaves doesn't mean I have to like him. It's like, all right, I get that. I know you've been through a lot of emotional pain, but like, I mean, that's the whole idea Serizawa is trying to get him to confront and, you know, to grow and heal from. It's like,
right.
The only way you're going to sometimes the only way to face your problems and to be able to overcome them is to make peace with it, you know? Like,
yes.
you can't hold on to this hatred of Godzilla. It's not
and that
going
was
to
needed.
bring your son back.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, and that's true.
And
also,
he does eventually learn that.
Can I mention something about the son? Was it just me? Like, I feel like there's something wrong with me. It didn't, like, I'm happy it didn't show, like, the sun going splat or something. But it didn't seem apparent that the son had died at first to me. I was confused. I was like, no, because it's just me. Because, like, I see that.
Yeah, because the opening scene is just, you know, the dad screaming his name and the mom is holding Madison, I think, and they're all kind of looking around panicked trying to find him.
Yeah.
But then it fades to black, and it's the idea, it's assumed that they never found him. Like,
yes, which is fair. I was just kind of confused because I'm not saying that I want to show. I don't want to see a dead kid first 5 minutes in the movie. Holy shit!
Right.
Like
then they all, you know, they always look at the picture frame with all four of them, and they're you know, the dad doesn't usually look at it, the mom doesn't usually look at it. The only one who does is the sister.
Of course, of course. So no, it's implied. It was just one of those things where, like, I don't know, like I was. Just call me dumb. I was like, where is he, though? Oh, no, Matt,
with everything
baby.
else.
No, Matt, honey.
Please understand.
Where is he, though? Is he hanging out with Godzilla? Godzilla's not dead, sweetie.
Sure.
No, they're not hanging out.
See, you can't see it, but, like, if you look at this specific frame in this shot, you'll see the kid actually riding on Godzilla's back.
I know, right? Oh, my God.
But also with the mother, she's Dr. Russell. Well, Emma Russell is the character. But she also felt like when she delivers that message of, you know, humanity being a blight on the world and returning balance, bringing the kaiju back will help return balance, it feels like I've heard that speech many times before. And I'm not saying I'm not personally, like, I get that. But she didn't add anything new to that speech.
Can I? Yeah. Here's something that I want to say. Funnily enough. So when people say things like, "Oh, these characters were not developed," like, you know, it feels like it's the thing where I'm not disagreeing, but I want to say that
they've been developed, but they just didn't bring anything new to the table. Like their arcs that we've seen so many times before.
Well, I was just going to say that it's no different than any other Godzilla film then. So welcome, you're part of the Godzilla family. I've rarely ever seen a Godzilla movie, any of the movies, where I've thought, wow, all of these characters or a majority of these characters are built very well. And I'm talking about Japanese side as well. Like usually like, and you and I are only on early
is always second banana to Godzilla. Like,
other than I think the first movie did a really good job, Gojira, but other ones usually, especially a lot of the later Showa that you and I have been watching and talking about, it's been a while, but a lot of them it's like, I'm a journalist. Why, that's amazing. I'm also sort of a journalist. Hey, I'm a
part
bad
of the military.
Guy. Also, I run shit. No, the military was early on. They started losing the military, and they got a lot of journalists at one point, or like, hello, I am an army doctor. You know, like, it just kind of like, but it was really, like, they were, a lot of times,
more
too.
like Godzilla Defense Force, which is much later on.
Oh, yes. That's when things change, yes. But I'm talking about, like, early Showa that we've seen. A lot of it is just, like, these characters. And I'm not saying that it should be that. Obviously, it could be something different. But I think that
they are your everyday stand-up citizen at your everyday stand-up job that you should look for because they are good and honorable jobs that you should have.
Little tiny propaganda for the kids throughout the movies.
I mean,
nobody was. Yeah, right.
They had
nobody ever gambled.
Doctors, journalists.
Nobody ever gambled. Nobody ever drank. Nobody ever
Well, the pilots did, but that was Godzilla raids again.
And they needed a good drink.
Yeah, right. I mean, they were pilots of some sort. I forget. And then I think
no, they were
one
fighter
of them
pilots.
also yeah, right.
Yeah, no, they were trying to shoot down.
Like, the fishing boats go out too.
Yeah. No, you're right. They did. When I say
like
drank, I'm talking about like being drunk.
Oh yeah.
No. Usually the main characters would like maybe drink a little bit with like a lady that they're trying to woo.
The main characters were always like upstanding and not.
Yes. But anyway, back to this movie. No, I'm not saying that things should be the exact same way always, but I do think that they're trying to create something easy, and I think that easy in this case for these last two movies have been creating families. Where if they want to do something to even shake things up, a romantic subplot, which is something I usually dislike, would actually be a welcome change compared to the last three films. I'm including Skull Island in this, because they didn't have a romantic subplot in there, if I remember correctly.
They kind of sort of hinted at one, but it never went anywhere.
Yeah, which I loved.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, no, literally, Skull Island was just like, hey, here's King Kong.
We need to
also,
get the
fuck
out
Nam,
of here.
Right? That was the whole movie.
Yeah.
King Kong and fuck Vietnam, i.e. what happened in Nam. Not actual Vietnam.
Right.
But still, like, fuck everything that happened there in the 70s. I was like, oh, yeah, that's all right, cool. Interesting anti-war sentiment. A little bit late on that there. I think everyone's kind of moved past that. Not moved past, but, like, everyone agrees. Like, you can't it would be so interesting to find someone who's just like, no, the Vietnam War was not a problem at all. It's like, bro, a King Kong movie did criticism on that. I think we've all moved past it. Other than Samuel L. Jackson's character at the time. Holy shit. God, that was so interesting in that movie. That was a good movie. I would argue, as much as I love this movie, for the human element, the humans, that movie is
Kong
better.
did it better. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I would agree with that as well.
Yes.
Like, that's
but when
the thing,
comes,
I don't necessarily dislike, other than the one general that I talked about, I didn't dislike anyone's character really in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, like, none of them were really that notable.
Yeah, and I think that is a problem, especially if someone is literally getting paid to do a review. And I know you might joke, some people will be like, but aren't you guys? But not in a newspaper, not, we're, trained in that. Watching all of these movies, like, we pick selective movies that we know that we're going to have some attachment to usually.
Right.
But I'm talking about people that, like, doing this for a living, and they've been doing this also for probably, like, 30 to 40 years. I can understand why the human element, they would criticize it to death. Now, if they say, oh, the action sucked, I'd be like, excuse me, sir.
Okay.
We need to have a discussion. Listen, sir, we live in a society. And
in
that society, we need to work together.
I don't know if you've... Right, exactly. I don't know if you've heard any specifics, because I personally haven't looked at specifics. So, like, if there have been critics that talked about what I just said, like, okay, then I get it.
Yeah,
but, like, I haven't really heard the details on what about the human element is being criticized.
Yeah, and I think the problem, too, is that if someone says, again, just the inverse, if someone says, oh, this wasn't developed enough, it's like, so then do you want more of it to take away from the kaiju stuff? Because, again, I'd rather, if the human element has to suffer for all the good stuff that happened with the kaiju, I accept.
Right.
I accept that trade-off. There's going to be a trade-off.
Yeah.
You can't do both. The movie was 2.5 hours long. You can't do both.
Right.
No, you can't. So that's the thing, right? So I feel like either you have less humans and not like less time with them. I mean, literally you cut down the cast a bit, or you have less monsters, I guess. And again, I say less monsters, maybe not less screen time, but actually, like, again, like I mentioned earlier, there's 19 Mutos. Can we see them?
Right.
Shut the fuck up. No. You're not going to see them. But you told me there's 19. Shut up. Look, Godzilla's there. You like that, fatty? I do like Godzilla. Like, shut up. You will not get any of the other Mutos. Okay.
Oh, my God.
No, but it kind of felt like that a little bit, right? Like there's 19 of them, and we see one who looks like a woolly mammoth, and we're like, oh, that shows us that we're never going to see him again. And then I think maybe we saw him bowing at the end.
Yeah. And they even had another insectoid Muto, like the first two, in 2014.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was like, oh, all right.
He reminded me of
you.
Yeah.
Well,
he reminded me of who am I thinking
about
of?
that?
There's one insectoid Muto, or insectoid kaiju from older Godzilla, but I can't think of the name.
Well, there is one that I remember. It was like a giant dragonfly, but I don't think that's the one you're thinking of. That one's kind of a lesser known. He was only in one film, I think.
Was he in the game, though?
Might have
Melee? Because then I probably know him from that. Oh.
No. I think you're thinking of Gigan, aren't you?
Maybe.
With
it's been a while.
The visor, the red visor, and he's got a big fin and like a beak, and then he's got like the saw blades. And
I wasn't thinking of Gigan, although I wasn't thinking of Gigan, but yeah, Gigan's cool. I like him.
No, I'm a fucking moron. I know who you're talking about. Megalon, the giant, the beetle with the drill on.
Let me see. Oh, I wasn't thinking of Megalon, but I'm happy that I'm happy that you're bringing people in who I wasn't thinking about, but I'm so happy.
That's an insectoid.
No, I'm thinking of someone who literally had the same like praying mantis type hands, but I don't know who I'm thinking of. But I love Megalon and Gigan.
That's got to be Gigan then, because he's got basically size for hands. Gigan.
Oh, then you're right. I'm thinking of Gigan perhaps, but like a different version of Gigan. Because depending on which Gigan you're looking at, he doesn't look like
he's a lot more cyborg. Yeah.
Yes, and his hands don't look like praying mantises. They just look like he just has hooks, but they didn't do it right. Like they're like my hands are hook hands. It's like, of course they are, buddy. No, they are. They're like hooks. I'm sure they are.
They're
to some
surgically
people.
altered. I can't hold anyone. I can't even hug my wife. God.
Well, I mean, she has to have an iron hide. That's pretty much. If she does, then he's fine.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, either way.
Yeah, that is one thing that I was kind of sad about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested, but also sad at the same time. Like, they had these references sprinkled out throughout the movie. And that was the other one that I wanted to say. Like, Monarch in this film kind of feels like the Godzilla Defense Force from, the older movies, in a way.
Very true. Very true.
They're not anti-Godzilla, but they've got, like, secret military operations and technology that not everybody else is privy to yet.
Oh, you reminded me of something. Something that I really wish we could have scrapped. I would have scrapped so much for any new info on Monarch. Because it felt like in this movie we were kind of just supposed to accept that they exist and they're on the verge of collapse. But I thought we were going to learn even more about them because we learned about them in 2014. We got more info with Skull Island, but again, that's their origins. Or not origins, but technically their origins.
I mean, the funny part is they've I feel like that's a running gag for Monarch at this point. Like it's like they've been failing ever since their inception.
Yes. No, that is funny.
They've been
in a way.
threatened to be decommissioned and gone under since they were made.
No, in that way it's fucking hilarious. That I do find funny. But I'm referring to the fact that it feels like we don't know more about them, but we're just supposed to accept that they have all of this money from the government.
Right. But they
all
also
of these resources
don't at the same time.
Yes. So that's the interesting thing, where it's like you have to remember that all of the people who were not working with them, who were not getting killed, who were kind of like hindrances other than the eco-terrorists, were the actual military. Which makes me think that they did not get military funding for this movie. Usually, when the military is painted in a positive light. Usually the company, whatever movie gets a little bit of military funding. This one did not come off that way at all. I think the original Godzilla also had issues where, like, I thought maybe they got a little bit because they featured a military guy so prominently and so well. But in this one, it seemed like it was the exact opposite. Where the military
most of it felt like more like futuristic tech. And, like, specialized fighter jets and that giant fighter jet that they had as a moving base.
Which, to be fair, five years in the future after Godzilla. You're going to invest in that shit.
Right, exactly. And that's the one thing I wonder about. Like, all the monitoring stations that they had for all these different kaiju, was that in the last 5 years? And that's why they're like, hey, we've dumped all this money into all your stations, you know, and now when shit hits the fan, you can't do anything about it. What the fuck was all this for? Then I could kind of understand where they're coming from, but that's never really made apparent. At least I didn't get that. Like, I mean, was all that done within the last 5 years, or has that been done since Monarch's inception from what you see in Kong Skull Island?
Thank you. That's a great point, and that should have also been referenced. Like, you don't have to
because they had a lot. It seemed like they had a lot of influence from Godzilla 2014 when they were monitoring the chrysalis for the insectoid Mutos. Yeah. They had a whole base set up in there and a huge quarantine zone around it to keep it secret. So, like...
No, I agree.
I don't know.
Again, No, I agree. And maybe some of that stuff... that stuff wouldn't have been mentioned in the papers because that's too confidential. So, yeah, that definitely is some stuff that even I don't know where it could have fit in this movie, but it's still a nice little something that should have been there, because I feel as if when you have Monarch being in the 70s version and you're trying to build them up and tell us more about them, it's really odd that you just don't really talk about them other than, well, they're here to serve the purpose of fighting the Mutos or helping Godzilla. And it's like, yeah, that's nice, but where is all this shit coming from? Like, if they just had access to futuristic tech, but they don't want to tell the public, I mean, usually the government does have access to stuff 5 to 10 years before we get it. Right. Like, Wi-Fi that we have right now, we think it's great. Fucking government probably has better shit they're working on in labs behind closed doors. I know it sounds silly to some people and sounds conspiratorial, but, like, actually looking back, like, computers, they had some damn good computers before anyone got home computers.
Right. Yeah.
You know, shit like that. So government has tech that we don't know about. Probably some hover-related shit that they're like, oh, no, that killed the last guy. We don't, you know, like, we're not going to fucking put that out to the public yet. Probably something like that. But still, that's just pure speculation. But it is known that the government has stuff like that. So it wouldn't surprise me that, you know, government has weird shit to help keep all of these Mutos under wraps and monitored. And that we, in the 2014 version, were just learning of Godzilla and these two other Mutos. But Monarch is like, fucking known about this shit for years. What, you think Godzilla was our first that we knew? I mean, I know we're calling him Monster Zero and 1 and 2 and all that shit, but, like, Kong's been on Skull Island for 40 years as far as we know. Like, yeah, I mean, think about that. They had that rendezvous with, not that rendezvous, they had that meeting with Tom Hiddleston's character and Brie Larson's character in the 70s. Right. And they were like, yeah, here are some other very interesting, hieroglyphics. Right. And they had Godzilla, they had Ghidorah, they had
Rodan
Mothra.
And Mothra. Yeah. Right. The different visuals and paintings of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, depictions.
Exactly.
Which I guess...
Didn't they have one depiction of Godzilla versus King Kong, too, or...?
I don't think so.
They did in this movie, I thought.
They
At
did,
the end?
yes.
Yes. Okay, because in this movie, they did something... What?
I feel like that image is not necessarily them confronting one another directly. I think there's more of that image that we haven't seen.
Jojo.
Not shown.
Oi. Dio. Just walking towards each other.
Honestly, yeah, right, yeah. I mean, I foresee them maybe looking at each other like, I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge. And it's like, obviously something bigger is going to come out that they're going to team up against.
Oh, and, well, we pretty much
we might know what that is.
Yeah, so after credits, Ghidorah is clearly dead. The original Ghidorah is clearly dead, right?
Yes. That's the other thing. Godzilla also keeps up his kill streak of, I'm going to atomic blast you into your head and rip your head off.
I mean, it's just a smart thing to do.
I mean, it's the only way to make sure that your opponent's dead.
Well, no, I'm just saying that. Look, I'm just saying that if I had to protect myself and protect the world, and why would I stab something with a knife when I could literally atomic breath into them,
right,
and ruin their insides? Well, I'm going to be like.
Although this was the reverse.
True. That's fair. Still, though, yeah, like you're just gonna destroy them as intimately as you can in every single way, and so so the Ghidorah head he's dead, but one of the Ghidorah heads is still intact. An eco-terrorist asshole who clearly, even though you could argue his mission is done because it seems like Godzilla is the true quote-unquote alpha, if you will, the king of the monsters, and the environment is still going to be. By the way, not only is the environment still, not only the environment going to survive through this and get better, clearly the monsters have done enough. I mean, again, I'm just saying that the fact that they were in Boston, right?
Right. Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah, that was the final match.
A lot of destruction, and unless you can try to hand wave it as, oh no, don't you worry. From 5 years, we've created a lot of bomb shelters, so even though it looks like the cities are destroyed, everyone's fine, right? If they do that, okay. Like, I'm not saying that can't happen. It's funny. Super Sentai has done stuff like that before, but they're like, actually, did you know that this one mech is actually like a giant medevac, a giant like ambulance, and everyone can get inside of it, and we can get them to safety or something. Like, they've done that before in like Japanese superheroes, so like I can understand it being brought over, but like, man, there was a lot of just wanton destruction everywhere across the globe. So you would think that this asshole would be like...
We're definitely taking a population dip.
Yes, you would think that this asshole would be like, well, mission accomplished, but no, it seems like he's just a complete prick, and he wants the Ghidorah head, and he's paying for it on the black market. Yeah. You had some predictions on this. You're the bigger Godzilla fan than I am. Where do you think this is going?
Mecha King Ghidorah.
Okay.
It's funny. I haven't actually, or maybe I have, and it's just been a long time, but I don't think I actually saw the movie where they rebuilt Ghidorah, but I know that's the idea. Like, Godzilla defeats Ghidorah, and then some faction comes out of the darkness, rebuilds him as a mechanized cyborg, where one or two of his heads are mechanized, and the middle or one of the heads is still flesh and blood. So
two things I want to add. One, the $1 Million Man theme plays. We can rebuild him. He will be stronger. But another thing too to mention. I haven't seen the movie either, so I want to know what the name is, but I don't know if I want to look it up and be spoiled. Unless you know it. Do you know the name, or do you want me to look it up?
Not off the top of my
I'll look it up. But I'll look it up. But here's what I have to mention. Oh, okay. Just type in Mecha Ghidorah and then see what first appearance comes up. But what I wanted to say is this. When you say a random group, in the Japanese version, in my head, I'm thinking that for some reason that's probably going to be the same aliens. So, like, they're probably just going to take him up into space and then just rebuild him and be like, we've made him, but more mecha. Well, why? Fuck you. That's why. Like, what do you? Couldn't you just Couldn't you have just rebuilt him?
Well, that was the funny thing.
Oh my God, Tristan, when did Mecha Ghidorah come out? Like that concept.
Mecha King Ghidorah. Mechanically modified Ghidorah created by Toho. First appearance is in '91. Godzilla versus.
Holy
Ghidorah?
Shit!
Really?
Dude, '91. I think that might actually predate Frieza.
Oh shit! Yeah, probably because Dragon Ball was '85.
Well, no, Dragon Ball was '85, but the anime ended. But Dragon Ball Z, the anime, started in '90. So yeah, that actually predates Mecha Frieza by a few years.
I wonder if that's where Toriyama thought of the Mecha deal.
Oh, come on. He had a kid at the time. Still has a kid.
Oh, no, like...
They probably went together to go see it.
Specifically Godzilla that gave him that inspiration and not another series.
Let me tell you why. Gamera makes an appearance in Dr. Slump.
Oh,
he's
shit.
a fan. Yeah, no, he's not a large appearance. Like, he's just a funny monster in the background, a cute little funny monster walking around. So
right.
Toriyama likes
kaiju.
Not just tokusatsu, but yeah, specifically kaiju.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He was kind of like a countermeasure. It's like, well, he beat Ghidorah, and now Godzilla is destroying everything again. So they're like, well, we need something to fight him.
So people made Mecha Ghidorah.
Yes.
Huh. That's interesting. Well, I can't wait to talk about that one because that seems odd, but that's interesting. Damn it, I want to see when Frieza first appeared. There's no like actual year on this. God damn you. No, and it's the Dragon Ball wiki too. I'm like, you were the chosen one.
Right. Huh. I don't know why I thought this was so much earlier.
Well, because
like I saw 91 and I was like, oh shit, wow, that's.
Well, I mean, dude, Monster Zero was the late '60s, so.
True. Yeah.
And then the U.S. version of that, it actually was delayed. It came out in '71. So like, yeah,
right.
Dude, I'd expected Mecha Ghidorah to be a thing in the '80s. They probably waited because in the '80s they redid Godzilla. You know, like they had like
right.
that whole like soft reboot in like what was it, 81 or
85.
something? No, 85. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Literally, the movie was called Godzilla 1985.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, no. So I'm going to assume because DBZ started in 1990, Frieza didn't come into play until maybe like 91, 92, and then that meant that Mecha Frieza didn't come into play until like 92, 93. Yeah, I'm going to say that he saw it, he loved it, maybe he saw it with his kid, he saw it, he enjoyed it, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, what are we going to do with Frieza? And it's like, they rebuilt him in space. Okay, why? As a countermeasure to Goku? No. Wait a minute, hold on. No, but I do wonder if, because I don't know how Mecha Ghidorah looks, but like you've seen him, you know how he looks. Comparing him to Frieza, does that click? Does anything click in your head?
I mean, not, well, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. It's more like I was thinking
have
like
3 heads. Well, wait a minute though.
I was thinking about his head, and I'm like, nah, not really. And then I went like lower body, like the legs and legs and tail. I'm like, oh yeah.
That's funny. Oh my
God,
that's funny. That's really funny. Now I want to look for some more Toku references in Toriyama's work. Again, this one's speculation, but the fact that Gamera is in Dr. Slump, this can't be a complete coincidence. Like, oh, Toriyama just randomly, I mean, especially with how big Godzilla was at the time, even if, or still is in Japan, even if he didn't see the movie, it had to have been on a trailer, in a trailer on TV or something, like a TV spot, or like a poster. He's like walking around his neighborhood. He just looks up and he's like, oh, and his editor's like, we need something. What's going to be your next thing? And he's just like, right, post Frieza. How about Frieza, but not what? Mecha Frieza. By the way, again, Mecha Ghidorah, Mecha Frieza. Just putting that out there.
Right.
Anyway, but either way, let's jump back to Ghidorah.
Originally, with the guy from, oh my God, why do I keep forgetting the Eco-Terrorists? Originally, I thought the bad guys were going to be like, we want to control a kaiju to rule the world, and then they had the whole like, no, we need to return balance to the earth. I'm like, oh God, why? Why do you always paint these people as evil?
Both are played out though. That's the thing. Like both are, because if he says to rule the world, it's like, that's also something that's been done. And by the way, I don't think there's a problem with showing that eco-terrorists are bad guys because, like, they are bad guys. You know what I'm saying? Or, like, because, like, it's not their initial – the problem to me is the fact that, like, they were so off and it turns out that they were actually somewhat right. That's the problem. So I think maybe if they wanted to just rule the world, it would have made more sense. And then maybe – I don't know. Maybe because I think the problem is that – even though you want to show that you can work together with the monsters, I don't know if we as the audience need a complete, like, cost-benefit analysis, as in, like, I mean, the environment's getting better. It's like, yeah, but the monsters accidentally step on all of your children. I feel like that shouldn't be a good trade-off. Like,
right. But there is also that one city that we see. I mean, obviously it's in ruins at that point, but there was a time where apparently civilization and the kaiju lived together in peace.
And no, and it can happen. I'm just saying that I don't think it needs to be based on, well, look at what they're doing for the environment. Like, yeah, okay, that's fine. My hair looks great. My dick works better. But, like, are they going to fucking kill me? Like, what the fuck's going... Like, I don't care about, like, all of this shit. Like, why does it matter? Oh, well, my hair's growing. Great.
Hey, your life might be shorter, but your quality of life is going to go way up.
I know, right? No, but, like, seriously, though, like, are the kaiju going to kill me or not? Is my family safe or are they not safe? And it seems like with Godzilla, they are safe. But the issue is
that's
that...
the thing.
Yeah.
As long as you don't fuck with Godzilla and ding-dong ditch him on his property, I think you're going to be fine.
I love that. So wait, is the doorbell you-sized or is it Godzilla-sized?
Yes.
There's 2 doorbells, one for idiots and one for Godzilla.
Exactly.
But anyway, no, but really though, yeah, no, like I'm fine if you just tell me Godzilla is protecting us. These monsters exist. It sucks. Even though
and I mean
will
Mothra
admit,
too.
Yeah.
Like Mothra
yes, of course,
was benevolent as well.
Oh yes, and I love that.
Rodan,
so, yeah.
I felt was kind of like neutral. He's like, yeah, I'll play for whoever's on top.
Yeah, right. But,
and that's why at the end when
Mothra
the other kaiju come out.
Stabbed.
Oh yeah, that was the fucking sweetest thing.
I cheered.
You know,
my little boy grew up.
You look at Mothra,
my little girl grew
all
up.
These other monsters, and you're like, I feel like you're ill-equipped for this fight. I love you, but like, And then, you know, she just comes out with the stinger in her thorax and hits Rodan right in the shoulder before he's about to like kill her, and it's like, no, fuck you.
Well, because you know why that makes sense? If you gave her a poison powder, which I know is like a joke on Butterfree, but come on, Butterfree is based off Mothra. But like if you gave her a poison powder, why would it not kill everyone in that area? So like you couldn't give her poison.
Yeah, right, exactly. I don't think she had so much a poison effect this time around, this iteration.
No. She has a healing factor.
If anything, she was focused more on healing, yeah.
No. She has healing and poison, I thought, in the past. But what I'm saying is that you can't give her poison because if she used it, it would have carried in the air, and then everyone in Boston, all the people that we love, would have either died
she's
or...
beautiful.
Well, no, they either die immediately or they find the closest way to kill themselves. Which... Do you remember that fucking movie?
Oh, I hate you. I hate you so much. How dare you?
A kid got killed in that movie.
Parallel. Oh.
Literally, we saw the kid die in that movie right up close. Jesus H. Christ.
Yep.
Didn't expect that either. Anyway, so.
Oh, I was going to say one. What the fuck was I going to say? God damn it. You threw me off, you fuck.
As you're thinking about that, I'll mention that when it comes to, you couldn't give a Mothra poison. You were mentioning that it's more like healing. We couldn't give her poison.
Right.
But you also couldn't, like, what could you have done? Like, she can't have poison. What she could do, like, string shot?
I mean,
it's in my
she
eye.
did.
I can't see. Well, yes, but, like, really,
which
I don't know. Like,
awesome.
no, she did, to be fair. I'm sorry. You're right. But it wasn't going to be, like, lethal.
Right,
That's a defense.
Exactly. It's more of a restraint, which is funny because in the old, you know, when Godzilla would fight Mothra and they was up against the caterpillars or Mothra, that's what they'd cocoon Godzilla in the silk, and he'd just be like, "All right, guys, you're really pissing me off with this. Like,
when I get out of here,
hurting me. We're like, fuck y'all, I'm out.
When I get out of here, I'm going to kill you.
When I get out of here, I'm going to murder you.
No,
your brother and or sister and your entire fucking family line.
I believe in the idea of being in a cocoon, and that when you come out, you look so beautiful. And I want you to know that when I get out of this, I will be so beautiful, and I will kill you.
I
will
will
be the best.
so much better than you.
And I will kill you. Godzilla comes out, has like really long eyelashes.
My God.
Just beautiful makeup. I mean, it's just done so well. Godzilla's like, am I beautiful?
I'm thinking of a friend right now, and I'm pretty sure she would draw that if you asked her.
Oh God. Well, we could commission her to do that.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, so anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
When Mothra flies in and shoots the web at Ghidorah and nails all three of his heads to the side of that skyscraper.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, you were excited too, but like I almost audibly like screamed like yes. And then of course Godzilla just comes in for the takedown and fucking slams Ghidorah. I thought he was gonna like rip his heads off and then like smash him into the building. No, he just tackled him through the fucking skyscraper. Yes. I was hype as shit.
Yeah, no, it was honestly like I'm so happy that they had the monsters working together. They had Mothra being benevolent because when they first showed Mothra, even though she was being controlled, I was worried that she was going to be mean throughout the entire film and be controlled. Yeah. And I'm happy that they showed the whole cocooning, becoming like I forgot what version of Mothra she becomes when she gets out of the cocoon. What's it called? The Japanese version? Isn't there a special name like Shin Mothra or something?
No, I'm pretty sure it's always just Mothra.
Or like, no, I thought it was like a Mothra Ultra form or something. Kind of like Godzilla, how he has the atomic version.
Oh, I don't know. Not that I know
of. Anyway, anything you want to say about this movie as we're wrapping this one up? Like, I don't think it should be this low at the box office, but I also understand why some people would have some reservations, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I feel like it's for the fans. At least that's just how I think
some people who've been following it for a while. Those like, and I think that even though it's a great love letter, it is a bit hard maybe to let in new blood with this much of a gap between the films.
And with that kind of budget riding on it, being like, we need to make this money back. Granted, I will love this film forever.
Oh,
because those fight scenes are fucking phenomenal.
Definitely. No, I love that. I love the fight scenes. No, but I think that it's the other stuff. It's funny. Like, we say we love it and we do love the fight scenes, but how funny is it that we've shit on a decent chunk of the other parts of the movie? But man, the fights though, like honestly.
I mean, I don't think we've shit on it.
Oh, okay.
Like there are things that I've shit on.
That's fair. Oh yeah, no, there are some movies that we've talked about that we've shit on, to be fair. I also something that I loved, even though I think that it should have been verbalized because I wasn't paying attention earlier on, and I was like, fuck, I really have to pay attention now. The end credits when they had all of the papers, the newspapers.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, call me an idiot if you will, but I feel like all of them being based on real, like, shit that we need to pay attention to for next time. Like, what's going on in the story and the plot. I'm like, could we maybe,
can we get a summary of that?
Yeah, like just have someone say something about it. Because obviously once I started paying attention, I was like, oh my God, Skull Island, oh my God, like.
Yeah, well, because that was the thing. You were starting to talk about the movie itself, and I'm like, I'm analyzing like as much as I can while it's coming up on, because they were going so fast. I'm like trying to grab what I can.
Yeah, and I was like, because like that's good for, stuff like that is great for when you're watching it, on TV, or if you're watching it on DVD. Yeah, because like I'll pause that shit, and I'll just be like, and I'll read, like, dude, like the amount of stuff that I pause when we're doing a podcast where I read every single line of something that was probably just written randomly just to kind of be thrown in the background, but I'll be like, what does that mean? Is that relevant? Is that backstory? So in this case, having it all flash that fast, I was like, come on, guys, I really need to read all this. But yeah, so I think that, like you were saying about Mechaghidorah, it does seem like they're going to try to recreate it. I don't know why or how they even have the money to do that. So I feel like that's going to be a weird thing that I hope that they do address, because I'm someone who does have a high suspension of disbelief with all the shit that I watch, but I still hope that they have a reason some really good reason, maybe some shitty backers. Because, like, what rich person wants to pay for the end of the world? You know? Like, I don't know who's going to be backing these eco-terrorists.
Yeah.
Because where are they going to get this money from? They're shitty people, but, like, are we supposed to just assume that they have infinite resources to be able to create this thing? Because, like, unless maybe the military, for some reason, still disagrees with Godzilla, so they do a side deal, which has happened with foreign governments.
Right.
Actually, not foreign governments, but with foreign military groups, usually very militia-like, where they fund them despite the fact that they were at one point or currently are our enemies, and then all of a sudden they become our enemies and they use our weapons against us. So that might happen here, in which case that would actually be a commentary like they did in this movie, like Godzilla usually does, a really good social commentary. But then you do kind of wonder, like, it's funny. You and I would be sitting there saying, like, damn it, why weren't they vetted? But again, that has happened before in the real world, so, like, I don't know. It might be one of those things where, like, it's too real that people are like, then this has to be a shitty plot. And it's like, no, actually, that's happened. You know that there are some, side note, there are some documentaries that certain things have been taken out. And it's like, well, why did you take out that real story or that real part of the story? And someone said, it sounded too unbelievable. If we put that in a movie, people would have said it didn't happen and we were making it up for Hollywood.
What the
So, No, nothing like major to someone's life, but like little tiny things maybe in a story, like a story about someone who's like a hero or something, and it's like, wait, he saved all of those people from a burning building without a mask, and it's like, yeah, but we put the mask on anyway because people wouldn't have believed it without the mask, you know, like they thought we'd be like painting this guy as like the next fucking Batman or something, and it's like, no, like he really did that, but we had to put the mask on because he seemed too cool or something.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm wondering if they do something like that where
either
everyone's like, that's it.
Or they're just going to go completely balls to the wall and aliens.
Well, here's the thing. I thought they were going to go balls to the wall crazy with aliens, but when they show him, like, unless he's going to be working with aliens or he is an alien, bro, if he's an alien, it's going to be so weird, but I'm going to be so happy. Like, I'm going to be sitting there and going, this does not make sense and it's convoluted, but damn it, I'm so happy he's an alien.
Right, yeah.
So fucking happy. No, but seriously,
I
though.
didn't think of that.
No, because it's just so dumb.
I wonder if, what if it comes to light that it's like when Ghidorah is harmed or is killed, like there's a signal sent back to where he comes from.
but that would be weird because I feel as if that scene did nothing to serve that. Like they should have done something, not showing like an alien saucer, but they should have done some type of like weird like beam. And then, like, some type of weird, like,
weird
code
radio waves.
Out.
Oh, that would have been. Oh, what if that's in one of the newspaper clippings? Like weird interference or radio transmissions. That would be fucking. That would be. I would.
Well, I mean, we'd have to actually see that. Like,
I know.
Hopefully when it comes out.
Yeah.
Right. No, but it seemed like they were just trying to build up for Godzilla versus King Kong, but they're not going to use that as the fight. Even though I would love for them to actually fight, not to the death, but to actually, like, fight for supremacy, it seems like it's going to turn into a fight against Mecha Ghidorah because I think I mentioned this to you during maybe us talking about a trailer or us just talking about Kong Skull Island. It seems as if I was worried that, or you and I were worried that Rodan was going to be downplayed, and clearly from what he was in this movie, they're probably going to have the third, like, helper against the Mecha Ghidorah be Kong instead of Rodan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll probably be Godzilla, Mothra, and Kong versus Ghidorah.
Right.
Because, again, what other thing can they do? Because, like, I hope they didn't. I pray to God they didn't make this teaser for Mecha Ghidorah like, oh, we'll have something to do after Kong versus Godzilla, because it's like, that's a lot of hubris, and I don't like that.
Right.
Like, look, if it came out as a comic, I'd love that. But, like I mentioned earlier, but I hate when studios have that much hubris. You know, like, it's like, well, I mean, it's Godzilla, so why would it make so much money that we could make another 2 movies? And it's like, bros, like, just chill out. Let's work on Godzilla versus King Kong and see how well that does before we plan for something else.
Right.
You know? So hopefully Mecha Ghidorah is shown in that movie, and it's not some weird, like, plan for a future movie that they wanted to tease in this. Like, I'm hoping it's going to be a payoff immediately in the next movie, and that's kind of like a twist, because it's like, well, the movie's called King Kong versus Godzilla, so that is going to happen, but they're not going to kill each other.
Right.
So
it would be very odd if that's how that goes down.
I would be pissed, because even though I understand that, like, even though I've defended Kong, I understand that Godzilla can defeat Kong, but man, would it be odd if he rips off his head. Or, like, atomic breaths into him.
Right.
Like, no.
Yeah, because, Kong is benevolent as well, so it wouldn't make sense for them to kill each other. Like,
no. Fight.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, are you actually trying to come into my territory? And Godzilla's like,
right, exactly.
Wait, you mean the planet? Because I'm pretty sure you're on the planet, right? That's my territory, right? Am I wrong?
You mean my planet? Because,
are you Ghidorah? Are you friends with that guy?
I'm King.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. Is King in your title? Are we gonna start this shit? Are we gonna do this?
Oh God, I just thought of an epic rap battle of, like, there's a reason why they took King out of the title of your new movie.
Oh.
That's funny. Oh my God.
Oh God. We could make that a thing. No.
Oh no.
We shouldn't. We could, but we shouldn't. But maybe, but no.
You were just staring at a Ghidorah head like that fucking dude at the end of the movie. Like, I shouldn't, but I will. But I shouldn't, but I should. Oh, could we also note, too, not that even eco-terrorists are played out, but the fact that he was British, like, just looking at him, it's like, of course you're British. Of course you are.
Of course you're the villain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I never heard of an eco-terrorist, but, like, all right, let me tell you something there, Jim. You and I are going to save the world by destroying the world using this technology. Like, no, it's always just like, I sound like this because if I didn't, you wouldn't find me intimidating and smart. It's like, all right. Maybe. Like, or, you know what, let's make it local, right? Let's make it local. I don't want to, let's not upset our fans in the Deep South with fucking whatever the fuck I was doing. Let's get local here. Hey, I am someone that you would call an eco-terrorist, dude. But guess what? I'm trying to bring things back the way they were. So here, I'm going to put down Time Wizard. That's a card, sir. Yeah, which means that all of you are supposed to set back time by bringing out the kaiju. Okay,
I fused Time
sir.
Wizard with my baby dragon, with my Ghidorah baby dragon.
Dude,
head.
no,
and you
when
get this fucking monstrosity.
Actually, when Rodan came out, I literally looked at you and said, Red Eyes Black Dragon.
You did.
I did, because he did. He looked like a Red Eye.
Yeah, he kind of did.
And they say you can't
reminded me a little bit more of like Red Eye's Black Skull Dragon. The
Fair.
fusion with Summon Skull, but yeah.
Yeah, yes. Anyway, so I think it's time to wrap this up. Like you've been saying, this was definitely... I know. It's been more than 2 hours. We're going on almost longer than the movie itself. Actually, no, we officially have gone on longer than the movie was. Look, was this a fun movie for fans, longtime fans? Yes. Would I show this to someone as their first Godzilla movie? No. And I think maybe for some people that could be a problem, but obviously if you technically could, well, I mean, would you show this to someone as their first Godzilla movie if they've never seen Godzilla before? Do you think they could follow what's going on? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, But I think that, thankfully, because this isn't tied to anything else, at this point, watching Godzilla 2014 and watching Kong Skull Island is a fun weekend, I think. Mixing it with this. But I do think that in the long run, this being released alongside other huge blockbusters definitely has hurt it. Even ones that aren't as huge, like I hear that Men in Black International, which is one that I would have liked to see with you in theater, but again, I also don't have the cash. And you and I, while we love Men in Black, we're not like Godzilla about Men in Black, at least recently. if because if the third one had done well, or if this had some small cameo, a tiny one, although maybe there is and we don't know, but a small cameo by like Tommy Lee Jones or Will Smith, just because it is the same universe, but they went to the UK. They're like, no, we're not going to do this in the U.S. But anyway,
okay,
that's why. It's why it's called international, and why Hiddleston and Tessa Thompson are in it.
Right. Gotcha.
So anyway, yeah. But pulling it back to the box office numbers, I think that it's going to sadly hurt it. At least I wonder if it's going to do better on DVD, though. That's what's interesting. DVD and streaming might actually bump this thing up, and because
I hope it does.
That happened with Pacific Rim. It took a while for the next one to come out, but I'm pretty sure DVD sales did really well when it came to Pacific Rim. I'm thinking of some other movies are slipping my mind, but no, DVD sales, even though streaming is king, long live the king of streaming, DVDs and Blu-ray still do hold a certain chunk of an audience, especially parts of the U.S. that do not have good internet, parts of the U.S. that I wish people could listen to us, but I'm sure there's some parts of the U.S. where people are like, hey, you guys seem cool, but, like, I can't download shit here. Like, YouTube is a dream. We still have a VHS rental store. Like, you know, like, no, I literally have a friend who lives in Alabama. I'm not going to say where, but they live in Alabama, and literally their town, the average age is 55. It's a small town, and they still have a place to rent tapes, which sounds nice until I talk to them, and they're like, I would watch your channel if I could. And it's like, dear God, you know? Like, yeah. So that's kind of why, like, in that area, if there are a decent chunk of Godzilla fans, I'm not saying they didn't go see it at the local theater, but I don't know how far the local theater even is for them. But either way, they might just get on DVD at Walmart or at some local, you know, big chain retailer in the area. So I do wonder if that's going to affect sales and maybe make anything after King Kong versus Godzilla a reality.
Right.
So we'll have to see what happens with this and also with Kong versus Godzilla and see where that is. Because like we said before, maybe the name will draw more people in. People might even look at the movie and be like, do I really need to see King of the Monsters? I saw Godzilla. Do I really need to see that? I know that Godzilla exists and he's the king. You know what I'm saying? So like, I wonder if people are going to maybe have that mentality, and even more people are going to see Kong versus G-Man in theaters. I wonder.
Right.
Yeah. We'll have to see. I mean, it's not even just Kong's name. It's just that's a big fight feel. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Like, if this movie was named, like, Godzilla versus Ghidorah, maybe some people would be like, oh, that is happening. Fuck, all right, shit. Because this movie did make it seem like it was going to be a monster melee versus, like, just, like, you and I thought, oh, it seems like it's going to be that same plot that we've seen before, but not in the U.S. But you didn't know. Like, we didn't know. Like, I actually thought, like, maybe we're going to have a little bit of a monster melee, and then it didn't turn into that. And I was like, oh, okay. Not a knock against it, because I wanted to see.
Not in a bad way, right.
No. But
different than how I thought it was going to play out originally.
Yeah, exactly. It was just a very similar plot that people have seen before. Also, the fact that, you know, people can get access to that movie, to the original movie against Ghidorah, even if some people, the general audiences, might not like it because, oh, it's outdated, et cetera, but you can still get access to it a lot easier than you could have 20 years ago or 30 years ago.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Get it on tape, DVD, Blu-ray, all that stuff. I'm pretty sure it's still in print in some form or another. Or the tapes, obviously, if you're getting it on tape, aren't that expensive. So, yeah, I'm wondering maybe that is somewhere in the play. Or just a lot of holiday stuff coming up or came up because, I mean, you and your dad were doing separate stuff, Memorial Day and all this other stuff coming up, a lot of summer plans, stuff like that. So I wonder if, like, more people are going to be like you guys, where they're just going to kind of slide in, like, June, July.
Yeah, the timing was also a little weird, too, with it being Memorial Day weekend and being away and, Yeah, all this stuff. So, you know, because it's so funny. When it came out, people were like, woo, bad box office numbers. And I was like, how? And it goes like 50 million. And I'm like, again, bad in context, perhaps, but out of context,
so weird when I hear the phrase, "Ooh, it's terrible. It only made $50 million." All right, then give me some of that then if it's so terrible.
Right.
If it's so bad, then I guess you don't need it, do you? Oh, we'll just throw around like, Matt, just take 30,000. It's awful. We don't need this. This is just, might as well have just not gotten anything. All right, that's fine. I'll take it. But seriously though, yeah. So they got like I think 50 million first weekend. But yeah, like coming up Memorial Day weekend, people got shit to do. Other movies have come out that they've spent their money on. Some people don't do movies once a week. Some people do them once a month, if even. Like personally, I've seen more movies this past 6 months than I have in years, really, in theaters.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a theater guy. It's just a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I know like you usually see them a bit more because of you're not only cheap theaters, but also like you can go with friends, so it's a bit more of an experience. But for me, it's just like I have friends, but they're not usually in the area or free. So it's kind of like if Endgame was a big one because I knew I was going to be spoiled. But if Endgame was a bit more secure with people spoiling it, I probably wouldn't have seen it in theaters. Even though it interested me a lot and I was hyped, but I think the worry of being spoiled was bigger there for me. And also it spoiling something that was that long versus like I was spoiled for 7 and 8 for Star Wars, but it wasn't the biggest deal. It just sucked. But I did not want to have to wait for Endgame to get out of theaters to then see it on DVD, Blu-ray, streaming, whatever, and then at that time probably know about certain plot elements that I don't want to spoil here for some people, but certain plot elements that came out of nowhere. So, anyway, we're going to wrap this one up. Any last words?
I think that's everything.
Oh, thought you were going to say long live the king. I like it.
Well, I was going to, but that's...
No,
see, now you took my
it.
moment from me. God damn it.
always a Rodan, never a Godzilla. I don't... Oh, my God. Anyway, so... No, but seriously.
Do your spiel.
Oh, my God. All right. Love you so much. You take care. And we'll see you next time. Okay?
What the okay.
I'm just kidding. No, I love it. Goodbye, everybody.
Really?
No. Was this how it's going to end?
Like Godzilla waiting for all the other kaiju to jump him? No.
All
right, we're not doing this? All right, cool. Cause, I'm fucking tired.
No. It just I only did that because it seemed like you were you reminded me of the end of the movie where like they're just kind of flying away in the helicopter, and it's just like, wait, is it going to end right here? And then it just cuts to black, and I'm like, really? Like, we're just supposed to be like, they lived, but a lot of other people died. But they lived, and you cared about them, right? And I'm like, I did, but so just, goodbye, click, fades to black. Anyway, seriously, though, thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of Friday Night Movies. If you're listening to this through our Blog Talk Radio account, which is blogtalkradio.com/those-guys-on-the-radio, thank you so much. Also, if you're listening to this through our iTunes, which you search up Those Guys on iTunes to download all of our stuff and listen to it on the go, thank you so much for that as well. And also, you could be listening to this, I mentioned this much earlier in the podcast, through our YouTube channel, Those Guys on the Radio. Search that up, and you can like and subscribe there if you are. Thank you so much. Comment down below with your thoughts on the movie. Since this is a review filled with spoilers, definitely spoil the movie. That's fine. Talk about that. Definitely give your thoughts on where the series might be going, if the box office numbers do matter or if they don't. Tell me what you think about all of that stuff down below. And what's funny is I would have thought that maybe Godzilla would have ended up on Warner Brothers streaming service, but it seems like they're actually not closing it down, but they're definitely significantly decreasing that and their output on that. So we can talk about that on a Keikaku Corner episode, but that kind of struck me. I was like, ooh, damn, that one is not even a year old. Fuck. Anyway, but either way, so yeah, it's I want to hear what you guys have to say about that, and also hopefully if you guys like our stuff, if you gotten this far, I'm assuming you liked it, definitely listen to all of our other stuff that we've released on our Those Guys on the Radio YouTube channel. We have a lot of our archives there. If for some reason or another you can't access them on our, I think on our Blog Talk Radio you could access all of them, but they go very far back. I don't believe we can do playlists on there, so you can check them out on our Those Guys on the Radio YouTube channel and on our iTunes. I believe they cut off after like 300, and we've been doing this, Tristan, for 5 years. Over 5 years at this point. How crazy is that? So
holy shit.
I know. Yeah, right? We could have done Godzilla originally, but I wanted to start off with the Japanese version, so we didn't actually do 2014 Godzilla till around now.
Right.
So
the new one was coming out, and we're like, fuck.
Yeah, and then we did that.
We should probably get on that.
And then we talked about Skull Island. We even talked about the original U.S. Godzilla 98 and even the 2005 King Kong. So, yeah, we talked about all of that. And I want to mention as well that if you guys want to see us play some fun video games, do some reviews, and a lot of other video game content as well that involves us, not just Tristan and I, but a bunch of other people as well, you can go check out our Those Guys on the Radio, fuck my life. Those Guys Play, that's where you are right now. Those Guys Play's YouTube channel, and you can even see some fun stuff relating to Japanese superheroes, pro wrestling, and more that myself and many other people do on our TG Productions YouTube channel. So, love you all, take care, and tune in next time for another episode of Friday Night Movies. Maybe with Tristan and I, maybe not. I don't know. I literally don't know.
Maybe with Mecha King Ghidorah.
That'd be good. I would only do something like that if we had a camera on us, like it was like one of those filmed podcasts. And it was like,
just
so what
the head lying on your couch, like the tongue laying out and the flies buzzing around it.
No, like not on my couch, like a full-on, like as if we're actually filming it in a studio. And it's like, so what was it like for you working on the film? And it's just like a cut to like one of Ghidorah's heads with headphones on, and the other two just outside talking, smoking a cig or something. Like, he just always wants to do these, like these press interviews, but it's like, what do we want, you know, man? Anyway, so either way, the other one's just like, I want to go play. Of course you do. Of course you do, buddy. Anyway, so I love you all so much. Take care. Tune in next time. Say goodnight, Tristan.
Long live the king.
Good night, everybody.